All right, so here we are with the live chat, and we will see what happens next. And I know, again, this is out of the blue, but for those who do catch this later on, if all things go well, that means if nothing else goes wrong, this Thursday, the 22nd at 9 p.m. Central Time, I will be on here again with the guys from Dead Pit Radio. Two really good guys, two really good friends. So that'll be this Thursday, the 22nd at 9 p.m. Central Time. Knock on wood, everything goes well. So for those who watches after the fact, look forward to that. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Just a random stream, see who all pops by and so forth. And that one I was actually able to schedule, so at least people know ahead of time that it's coming up. But usually I just go random and see what happens next. But yeah, it's one of those things where a lot colder out there, a lot colder. So couldn't sleep a bit, so decided to just do a stream for a little bit. I don't know if anyone even going to be around because it's pretty late. I didn't mean to do this so late, but I fell asleep, then I woke up, then I couldn't go back to sleep, and now here we are, almost midnight here by my time, almost midnight. So yeah, we'll see what happens, and that is that. Hopefully I'm recording or anything. So I guess until anyone finally checks by or sees this is on, what's coming out? Hey there, Ryan. Hey there, Meadowland. You're the first two on here. How are you guys doing tonight? I know it's pretty late. Hey, Deep Fried Awesomeness. Hope you're doing well. Wasn't sure if I was on yet. But again, hope you all are doing well tonight. And maybe if I can't think of anything else to talk about, I'll just think of a topic or something. Maybe we can make fun of Jennifer Lawrence more. We can make fun of Jennifer Lawrence more. We could always do that. But yeah, have I ever lost things I took days to look for again? Nah, nothing days wise. It's 12:49 p.m. You mean like in the afternoon? Damn. It's 11:50 p.m. here. So, am I ready for the Dead Space remake? I don't own a PS5, so it doesn't really matter to me what happens with the Dead Space remake. I don't own a PS5, so it doesn't really do anything for me. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that look forward to that and want to experience that again. I always have the original Dead Space. I can always play that, so there's that. Oh, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, I absolutely, totally sucked at that game, and then some. I absolutely, positively sucked at that game. But hey, I never said I was a good gamer. I just didn't know what the hell I was doing during that whole BS. I didn't know what the buttons were. I didn't know how the hell you're supposed to beat anybody. It seems like it's hard, just fucking hard as hell. So I didn't know what the hell the deal was with that, but again, it is what it is. Hey, Neil Punk, hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. My night's been okay. Like I said, I couldn't sleep, so I got up and decided to do a stream, and then I'll try to do some other stuff after the fact. Best of Best 3 I enjoy. I think that's actually one of the better. I would say Best and Best 2 and 3 are my favorite entries in that franchise. I like the first one. Fourth one, not really big on it, but we will see what we will see. I just said before, these sort of streams are kind of whatever goes, goes. And we'd always make fun of Jennifer Lawrence, like I said. We'd always make fun of her and other stuff as well. Hey, Wolf Arrow number one. Hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, I know there's excessive force to force on force because the trailer was so hilarious. Because you count how many times they say force. Excessive force to force on the force. It's like, who the hell is Stacy Randall? I did not see Avatar 2. I have no interest. It's over 3 hours long. It's a sequel to a film I don't like. I have zero interest in it. What movies have directors said that you think are better than the theatrical? Aliens. I love the theatrical of Aliens, but their director's cut, I prefer more Aliens. And then The Abyss, the director's cut of Aliens, I prefer more. The Abyss, I prefer the theatrical cut more. Uh, I think when The Punisher with Thomas Jane and some other films went on DVD, there's like a director's cut, but I thought the theatrical cut is more of a better fit. Uh, Jet Frost 1998, I haven't seen for over 10, 15 years. Um, I remember liking the horror film Jet Frost more. Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, but Best of Best 2 I enjoyed because that's more of an 80. It was in the 90s, but that's more of an 80s action film, and I'm a sucker for that. I'm a sucker for those kind of movies. Tournament movies or a guy face off against multiple opponents, and the song "To Be the Best of the Best." Dun, 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 dun. I love that song. So the only American Pie that I remember is the first one. That's the only one I saw that I remember. I know I've seen other ones, but the one I remember is American Pie 1, which I didn't mind. Most underrated Keanu Reeves film, Constantine. I always thought Constantine was a good movie. Hey there, Bobby. Hope you're doing well. But I always thought Constantine was a very underrated film. So I would say most underrated Keanu Reeves, I'll go with Constantine. My top three favorite Tony Scott films, that's tough to put in order, but I know it would involve Beverly Hills Cop 2, The Last Boy Scout, and let's see, Last Boy Scout, Beverly Hills Cop 2, and go with Deja Vu, because I always enjoyed that one. That's actually my favorite of the Denzel ones Tony Scott did. Although I really like Enemy of the State, so I'll go with Enemy of the State, actually, instead of Deja Vu, although I like Deja Vu. I'll go with Enemy of the State in top three, because that's a lot of fun. So yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Last Boy Scout. I'm not sure which I like more, and then Enemy of the State. I forgot Patrick Kilpatrick was in Best of the Best too. It's been forever since I've seen it, but I remember enjoying it. Do I remember Knockdown with Keanu Reeves? Yes, it's the worst Keanu Reeves film he's done, film he's been in. Crimson Tide's a good one. I like Crimson Tide. Least favorite horror movie of the year? Least favorite horror film? Probably Halloween Ends. The only horror films I liked was Nope and The Black Phone. Which I know people are like, you like Nope? Yeah, I did like Nope. I liked its weirdness of the story. A spaceship that eats people. I mean, that seems down the back alley where I did the blowjob for Jennifer Lawrence, like she did to Harvey Weinstein. Because how else did she get the role? It wasn't for acting. but Jennifer Lawrence, her IQ can't reach the double digits. But I like to Nope and the Black Phone. The worst is Halloween Ends and Chainsaw Massacre 22. Well, if you want to call Men a horror film, that's a horrible film. I'd rather watch Jim Carrey's Grunch than Elf. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the Enemy of the State review. Yeah, I've always enjoyed that film. Always enjoyed that. Patrick Kilpatrick. Yeah, I liked him in Death Warrant. Kicked up the Sandman. Back away, he kicked up the Sandman. Yeah. He was also a villain in Scanners 2, Scanner Cop 2, or Scanners the Showdown. He's been a villain in a lot of movies. But usually he plays a villain. Very rarely does he play a good guy. If I'm trying to think a film he's played a good guy in. Jerry Lawrence more stupid than Forrest Gump. Yeah, that's true. At least Forrest Gump, he knows how to play ping pong. Jerry Lawrence can't even play ping pong with her titties. Because what titties? Oh, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, that was when the kid got hit in the face and fell down like a sack of potatoes. That was unintentionally so damn funny. Ride with Darren Daniels. Yeah, I enjoy that one. That's my favorite Darren Daniels film. Jennifer Lawrence is delusional. That is true. She is absolutely delusional. She's absolutely off her meds, I guess. Completely off her meds. Ridiculously off her damn meds. Favorite film on mental health? I don't know if I have one. Like I can't think of movies like in particular that would delve into. Favorite film about mental health? Hmm. I'm not sure. I have to think about that. No, Jennifer Lawrence is only an icon in her own mind. Favorite Pixar film? Wall-E. Worst one? I'll go with Cars 2 until I think of a better one. Like Slam Dunk Ernest? No. That one just you could tell they didn't have the budget. The whole thing with the special shoes. I, and I don't know. I really didn't care for it at all. You could tell it just was down and dirty direct to video stuff. I look like Walter White. Is that a good or a bad thing? What's gonna be funny is that the next 10, 12 videos you see that I upload, it's not gonna be this. So it's gonna be a change of pace. But yeah, I wanted to have a different look for it. I actually don't mind this look, but I'll take Walter White. Favorite line in Aliens? Uh, God, that's tough. Favorite line in Aliens? Why you should put her in charge? There's a whole thing with Hudson. That's hilarious. Super Palmer 87. Hello there. How you doing, man? How's it going? In this cold, cold night. I'm sure it's cold everywhere. Is it cold for everyone out there? I've seen very few bits of Breaking Bad, but the stuff I've seen I liked. I've only seen a handful of episodes, but I have liked it so far. So there is that. But yeah, I have not. Yeah, I haven't seen like a full season or such, but I have liked it. Hey, Gemerol81, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Just spitballing here. Been only on for like 15 minutes and uh, just couldn't sleep. So fair, I'd do a stream for at least an hour or two. Hey, Right Dragon War. Do I like GTA 5? I've the only GTA I've played is Grand Theft Auto 3. Doom 2005, I think is a bit underrated. I get though why people hate it, but it needed a lot more action. That's its big main flaw. But I like 2005 Doom. I wonder what's very under. What I say is a bit underrated. Sure, I think it was called a different title. It would get a better reception. But defend the film to the death, like nah. But I do like it. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man? How you doing, my friend? I figured it was pretty late on your end. I didn't know you were still awake or around. Although I guess there's the time zone difference, so there's that. I'm glad you're feeling better, man. I'm glad you're feeling a lot better. Really glad you're feeling better, man. Uh, Let me know if you ever want to come on by or such. That's up to you. But I figure you were still wanting. Sure, man. I figure you wanted to rest after work, but I could do that. Just give me a few minute or two. Oh hey, oh hey, man. God, I forgot I did that Virtual Boy video. That was me just fucking around and testing because I'd never tried a Virtual Boy before. And granted, that's emulation; it's not the same thing. But I never tried it. The game does have a map and there's a cursor. Cool. Yeah, I would just try them out of the blue. But there's actually a couple fun games on the Virtual Boy. There's actually a couple fun games. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah, Virtual Boy. I know you were thinking of doing some of that stuff. That would be really interesting, especially since you would know what you were doing, unlike me. But it was me just testing them out because I'd never tried Virtual Boy before. But I think just the way it was released, where it seemed really annoying to try to put it on your head and such. Yeah, I just want to make sure I type this right. Okay. Okay, Mike, you should get the link any minute now. Hey, Infinity Darwin, hope you're doing well. How come Bruce Payne did not appear in other bigger movies? Uh, I I just people didn't really look at Bruce Payne as a commodity. I like Final Fight for Capcom. I do think that is a fun uh, video game. I play that more on Super Nintendo. That was one of the Super Nintendo games I had growing up. I know it's not like the arcade, but I still like Final Fight. I know in the arcade there's another character, guy, there's some stuff taken out. Although one level I remember that was taken from the arcade, which I'm fine with, is there was a bit in a high rise building where the floor was on fire and it was just completely fucking annoying. I'm glad I was taken out of Super Nintendo. The kiosk got the system myself like around 2016. Cool. Does yours still work? Okay. Let's see. The audio works. Cool.
Hey there. Can you hear me okay, everyone?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. On a side note,
Cool.
have you ever played something like the Virtual Boy? While it
No,
has a couple interesting games,
no,
or
I remember Angry Video Game Nerds video on it from a while back. I do remember that. I don't know if this is actually a memory that is real, but like it might be one of those Mandela effect kind of things for me. But for some reason, I think somebody had a Virtual Boy at like one of like, I would go to this school, my parents would drop me off, it was kind of like instead of having a babysitter, they just drop you off at this school, and you'd be hanging out with these other kids and whatever. And I vaguely have this like very like faint memory of one of them having a Virtual Boy, but that's I don't remember ever using it or anything. I vaguely have a memory of that. It could also be one of those things where I might have seen a Virtual Boy on display at like
They did.
at like KB Toys or some kind of like
Yeah, he mentions he
older
had sell
video
one at
game.
Toys R Us,
Toys R
so
Us,
they
yeah,
probably did
stuff
have.
like that. Yeah, that might be what it is. I do remember. See. You would take things to the school. So I remember taking action figures, and I remember like trading with other kids. Um, you know, trading like a scorpion action figure for like some of these other things, that the kids had. It was kind of it's the kind of stuff that you don't really see a whole lot of. Like, people want to trade things, like that anymore. I do remember I brought some micro machines, and for some reason, I don't know, maybe I guess I misbehaved or something, and then the fucking teachers that were there like took away my micro machines, and I never got them back.
She
So
stole them. Well, nowadays they're trading blowjobs like Jennifer Lawrence did with Harvey
yeah,
Weinstein.
yeah,
Trading
they're
blowjobs for
also still
underpayments.
doing Pokemon. At my job tonight, there's this guy.
For her, it's
He,
Pokeballs.
he rolled in
For her, it's
with the cart.
poking Harvey Weinstein's balls.
He rolled in with a
Pokeballs.
cart, and he had like a backpack, and he fit all the parameters of a shoplifter. He's like rolling around. He grabs the Pokemon card packs from up front, puts them in his cart, still rolling around super fast, and puts a few more things in. Then runs out with the Pokemon cards because I guess he's got to catch them all. And then he comes back. He
Catch
came
BB as
back.
well.
He I know exactly. He came back and then grabbed the last Pokemon card pack and stole that.
Greedy little asshole. Seems like. But real quick, a lot of people are saying hi. Very
Hey there.
cool. They wishing you well.
Thank you.
Uh, just real quick, right? A lot of
Got
nice guys on
over
here.
yeah, the ear infection. I'm still healing,
Hope
but
you're
like
doing
the
okay.
majority of like the symptoms are gone, which is good. Like I don't really have an infection anymore. It's just my eardrum is still healing, which is just a bizarre sort of feeling. Um, I don't have as much of this
Uh,
thing called pulsatile tinnitus, which it sounds horrible. It's not life threatening or anything, but it's just incredibly annoying. It's like hearing whooshing in your ear like constantly. That's like tied into your heartbeat. So every
yeah.
time your heart beats, you just hear this like whooshing in one ear. Yeah.
We didn't even plan this. We kind of have the same facial hair too, right? We didn't even plan it up front.
Yeah, I tend to let it grow out when I'm like sick because I'm like, I don't want to fucking shave. Fuck that
Someone
shit.
mentioned I look like Walter White for the positive, though. I got meth down below in the basement. But we've got quite a few questions. One mentioned the Stream 6 teaser. I'm like, it's Ghostface on the
Nothing.
subway.
Absolutely fucking nothing. I'm tired of these teaser trailers that are just a clip of the movie with like some titles. Like, that's the laziest shit ever. Why even release that? There's really no point to it. That's not an actual teaser trailer. It's just a clip from the movie. Just release the clip as a clip. Why call it a teaser trailer and bullshit people? Yeah, I did. I had a hole in my ear. Not a super big one. I think what happened is I got an infection in my middle ear, and fluid was like building up, and then it basically the pressure caused a hole, and so things could drain out. So yeah, fun times,
I mean,
fun
I don't
times.
know. Yeah. I don't know about tomorrow, but I'm sure he'll get to it soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get to it as soon as I possibly can. I'm gonna try to maybe do it after the stream, and maybe a couple other things before I go to bed.
Oh God, yeah. There's a lot of people.
Fuck
I
these
think there's a
channels.
Go ahead.
I
Go
hate
ahead.
these
Go for it.
channels. Like I've always like as soon as I saw these channels like becoming super popular, I'm like, this is the laziest,
Do the
worst
thumbnails.
shit ever. And a lot of the stuff where it's like, oh, first time reaction to RoboCop or some other popular movie, and I'm like, there's no fucking way this is the first time you've ever seen one of these films.
Well, I mean, a lot of these people probably live in a bit old bubble, so maybe it's first time
Maybe, possibly.
to live
But a
in a
lot of it's
bubble.
rehearsed, like, none of it's a actual live reactions most of the time. They have, like, these clips that they react to, and then they edit it together. So it seems like it's, an actual reaction.
I know one thing I'm jealous they get away with copyright
They
all
do,
up
they
and
get
down. So
around get away with all these fucking clips and all this other stuff and get tons of
they show the
views.
entire. They didn't show half the movie, but if some of us show a picture
Yeah,
or a trailer,
yeah,
you've had channels go down to you showing
yeah.
Friday the 13th, fucking part five,
It
six.
was
Was it
yeah,
six?
it was, 8. It was Jason Takes Manhattan. Or, no, it was Jason Lives. That's what it was.
Yeah, one of your older channels. You just had a
Mhm.
teaser.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, speaking of
stupid.
teaser, that's when teasers were actual teasers. Not not this fucking lame ass shit where it's just a clip. I mean, speaking of
Yeah, like
teasers,
Scream Six.
I was really surprised by the Barbie teaser of all things. Like, what? Like, it actually looked
I
like
didn't
it
see
could
it.
be interesting. I'm not like, "Oh my god, I have to go see it opening weekend," but it looked interesting visually. It was a parody of, 2001: A Space Odyssey. You know, that whole scene where they throw the apes throw the bone in the air or whatever?
Where they throw a dildo.
No, it was like a parody of, like, girls, like, before Barbie played with these baby dolls, and then you see, like, a giant Barbie
And then
in
they
the
grew up to hate men.
Margot Robbie.
And they grew up to hate men.
It just looked like visually it would be interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, first time. Total cringe. 100% cringe. Even the other reaction channels that were popular before this that were just people reacting to YouTube videos, people reacting to a compilation of funny videos. Like some of these reactors that got super popular and made a shit ton of money, they have no charisma and personality. It's so boring to watch them to react to things. They're just like, "Mhm."
Well, if they want to follow
"Hmm."
Barbie, they should, because there's a lot of people that got her naked. You know there are.
Well, I'm glad they got rid of Amy Schumer too. That was a terrible idea to have her as Barbie. That doesn't make any sense.
Is that the one who steals jokes or the
Yeah, yeah,
rumored stand up?
she's stole some jokes, but here's my thing with joke stealing. It's a common thing. Like it happens like a ton of times, and I think there are some instances where
Yeah, but she's
people,
not funny.
yeah, they don't necessarily remember like that where they got the inspiration from. It just it's a lot easier in the internet age to do research and dig for things. Oh yeah, I've seen that, but those music reaction song videos too. Those are lame as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
when I
Seymour
saw
Link is
that, I was
idiot
like, "What the fuck, man? Like, how has he not been canceled already? Is it just because
because
he's
he's Asian.
Asian?"
I mean, yes. I mean, I hate to say it, but and he's starring in Marvel films, and he's a bit protected. I mean, look at Jennifer Lawrence. Look how much of an idiot she put her foot in her mouth. I'm the first female action
Yeah, I
hero
saw that.
ever,
There was like a fake
and
article like the Babylon Bee made that it was like a Sigourney Weaver reaction to that. And I really hope it was I hoped it was real, but it was fake. But it would have
yeah,
been so perfect. Like if she actually did a reaction and was like, "Bitch, please. What?"
yeah. It's one of those things where
They live in their
common sense is
bubble.
out the door.
They are in their bubble. Speaking of bubbles,
Yeah, it's Hollywood.
there was a friend of mine, and I'm not gonna say his name, but
Okay.
it's clearly obvious that he wants to be in a bubble, and he unfriended me again because he just didn't like the way that I was like sharing my opinion and stuff like that. He said I was, not progressive or closed minded or too negative or whatever. And it's a shame. I've known him for years. So it's just one of those things where it's like, whatever, man. I mean, if you want to live in a bubble, fine, go right ahead. But like,
Well, then I hate to say it, he wasn't much of a friend then, if that's
yeah,
the case.
it's pretty
Like,
obvious that he wasn't really much of an actual close friend, even though he's one of the first, friends that I made on online years ago
mm.
when I was in high school. So
Like, what was, okay, you don't have to go into it, but like, what do you do? Call someone a cocksucker, a dick licker?
I
I
didn't
mean,
say anything like that. It was just I think it was just some of my posts that were, talking about that were cynical about the film industry and so on. Didn't think I was very progressive. Maybe it was one of the posts about, Indy 5 or some of that other stuff or forced some of these forced things um
which they're
that I talk
doing
about.
though.
It is. I mean, forced diversity is an actual thing, and I read an article that somebody did online. They're like, forced diversity doesn't exist, and I'm like, No, it's so it's so blatantly obvious that it's a real thing right now. I had one guy because I did a video about that, and I had one guy leave a
Yeah,
comment, and he was like, "Oh, the only way to get true diversity is to keep forcing it. Like, we need more forced diversity, like, not less."
but we've had diversity.
I
Like,
know,
we've had. I guess people didn't see George Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
I
Who
know.
stars in that? Who's the best character? Ken Foray.
Yeah, Ken Foray. Yeah.
He ain't fucking, he didn't get a big tan. He's
Well,
that
now
white guy
people
that
are
big
like
tan.
they're changing what diversity kind of means. So like they're throwing all these different things into the diversity label. So, oh, diversity isn't just like race now. It's, gender or sexual identity or some of this other stuff. And that's been there too. Like it's always been in film, especially like in the past 10, 20, 30 years. People who act like it's a new thing, like, who clearly aren't paying attention enough to the history of cinema.
Exactly. I mean, women: Gina Davis, Demi Moore, Sigourney Weaver, Linda Hamilton, Amy Steele. Almost every slasher film had a strong woman kicking a
Yeah,
male's ass because that was just the
yeah,
story, and it was fine because it was just a horror film, slasher film story.
yeah, absolutely. Well, that
Yeah, more
too.
likely.
And animation. I mean, speaking of animation, you want to talk about diversity, there's a lot of diversity in, Batman the Animated Series. I've been rewatching that recently, and there's a lot of different characters, small or rather significant in certain plots, that are of multiple different races and are men, women, and so on.
But the story is what mattered. The characters was mattered,
Absolutely.
and it's just crazy in today's age. But I can't be surprised that you saying that means you're an ist
Yeah.
because I care about story and
See,
characters.
the thing is,
Okay,
I'm all for like having more representation, like continuing to do that. I'm glad that that's happening more often nowadays in certain areas. But I just want things to be more than just, oh, well, things are diverse now. Well, that's not enough. Like it hasn't been enough for like 20 to 30 years. Like write these characters in ways where they can have a lasting legacy and actually leave an impression on people that actually lasts. Not just like, oh, we're just gonna change the race of these characters, or like with the fucking Resident Evil Netflix show. And that show sucked from what I've been hearing. I've heard it was absolute
which one?
ass. The Resident Evil Netflix show. Oh,
I
that
saw
that
the first episode. It
you can
was.
check off all the boxes that exist for that series.
Yeah, between their ears and their legs, all the boxes, check them all.
But
You can go fuck
they
yourself.
they didn't bother to write good characters.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what is the fucking
Replacement
point?
kills. I don't know what the point is. So that they can get brownie points because if they did one, two things wrong, they jump on a bandwagon. Look how
Mhm.
progressive and these
Mhm.
fucking words are used that will look good on their resume or look good as they prop themselves up in neon lights saying, "Oh, I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener. I'm so fucking fantastic. I'm so
Armor
terrific.
hot
I am
dog,
perfect."
armor hot dogs.
Yeah, put us back
Dogs
in the
just love to
fucking fridge,
bite.
please.
Yeah.
And like this guy, replacement kills Antoine Fuqua, black
Mhm.
director, Chow Yun Fat, Mira
Mhm.
Sorvino. That was in the
Yeah.
90s, 1998,
I
give or
mean,
take.
this film sucks ass, but you could say there's a good amount of diversity in this.
Yeah, yeah, fat guy, and you got Ja Rule, and you got, there you go.
That film did crack me up at moments though. Like when Ja Rule's character first got hit and then flew back into like a car. Like it's some of the funniest shit I've seen in years. He flew back like a
Half
million
past
feet
dead,
and then was like, ah!
half past dead.
Hey there, Sean.
Uh,
Thanks. Thanks for the kind words there. But yeah, Half Past Dead. I'd never seen it before. I'd seen the trailer, but yeah, that one sucked. I liked Exit Wounds. That one
yeah, I
was
like it as well.
that one was really bad. Like it was boring, and Morris Chestnut is more like Morris Sucknut in that. Really bad performance by him. Like, I did not buy him as some intimidating leader of a group of mercenaries who are trying to steal some gold or some shit. I didn't. It was a really bad casting. And Seagal, he definitely got fatter from exit wounds to half past dead. I mean, I think that's why there were so many scenes that were shot super up close when Seagal is with like Ja Rule or other characters when they're talking to one another. Like it's super zoomed in because he's such a fat ass now. They were like, we don't want to have a lot of wide shots here because then he looks a little too wide.
Yeah,
I saw that. I saw that too. I saw Half Past Dead too. I like that more than Half Past Dead because it was kind of fun to see Goldberg beat the shit out of people in a prison during like a prison riot. And Corrupt, I didn't mind in his little bit. He was kind of annoying at times,
well,
but
Bill Goldberg's definitely more in shape than Seagal. I'll give
yeah.
you
And
that.
also, it's like it's a direct-to-video movie. The first film was a multi-million-dollar production that was released in theaters. Thanks,
I
Splash
saw your
Radius.
video. You did a good
Yeah,
job on that
yeah.
video.
It's the fucking Nolan Knight fanboy group that just moved from sucking Christopher Nolan's dick to sucking Zack Snyder's dick.
And if people like those films, that's fine. But like you said in your video, it's like everything. It's the top of the top fringe, just insanity.
Yeah.
And it's like that with every fandom, every group, every
And they're
person.
usually the
Yeah,
most
people.
vocal in
Yeah,
any fan base.
yeah, and I just think those films, Man of you like Man of Steel more than me. I
Yeah.
hate Batman v Superman. I hated Justice League, both cuts,
Yeah, I thought both
and
cuts of that sucked too.
they didn't perform that well.
No.
And I'm sorry, Henry Cavill he got lied to, and you mentioned that in your video.
Yeah.
That's not what it was about. It was about Snyderverse wasn't making it at the bank,
But
and a
but
lot of
but but
audience, not
but
all, but a lot
Matt,
of audience didn't give a shit.
Warner Brothers doesn't like money because they're canceling the Snyderverse.
But they weren't making the money they were
I
supposed to.
I know. I know.
A Batman Superman movie, the first time they're on screen, should have been $1 billion at least,
Mhm.
and it didn't. It didn't even make it.
Mhm.
Fucking, I think Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever has made more money
Like
than a Batman Superman
their
movie
most
together.
popular Snyderverse film, I think, in terms of box office, I believe was Wonder Woman. I think that was the biggest hit, possibly. I could be wrong.
I think so. I don't know
At
how
least in terms
Aquaman
of
did, but
critically. It was if we're talking about a hit in terms of financial success as well as critical success, Wonder Woman. But I didn't like that movie either. Like Wonder Woman 1984 is worse, but it's still not what I think is really anything that great. It's I saw a comment from somebody that cracked me up. He's like, "Wonder Woman is the first Avenger in hot pants." I was like, "That's
like Captain America,
honestly,
the first Avenger,
yeah,
but
Captain America, the first Avenger in hot pants."
I can see that.
What I didn't like about Wonder Woman is when that
I
came out.
real quickly, I think that's because sadly some of the stank of Zack Snyder stuff.
Well, yeah, Suicide
Because
Squad tanked because
he,
people weren't a fan of David Ayer's Suicide Squad, the one that came
yeah.
out before Will Smith.
And when I say I meant that era of Snyder and those type of movies coming out. So it's like, okay, almost has the same title, and they didn't like or some people didn't like the first one.
Mhm.
So yeah, that sadly hurt it, even though it was a much better movie. And the Batman, when they just saw Ben Affleck Batman, and there's been tons of other Batman, and also it was for the length of time, the type of
Yeah,
story. I don't think it was ever going to be the moneymaker they were hoping. I
yeah.
enjoy the movie, but it was never.
The
And I
running
like it more than
time
no one's.
the running time was also a turnoff for people. I really think that was
Yeah,
definitely the case. Um,
yeah. And
but
as much as I like the film, it should have been edited a bit down. As much as I like
yeah,
the film, and you
I
said the
could see
same
that.
a
Yeah,
little bit.
definitely. There's a little bit that could definitely be trimmed with that movie. But going back to I think I was talking
Wonder
about
Woman
Wonder Woman. The thing that I just hated seeing all the stuff where people were talking about, oh hey, uh Wonder Woman is like the first film ever, like first superhero film ever to feature a female lead directed by a
for marketing.
female. And I'm like, does Tank Girl not exist? I guess so. I guess Tank Girl never came out. It was never a
Well,
thing.
granted, because the film bombed and people hated it, so they
It still made history.
ignore it.
It's the same way that I look at something like The Meteor Man. Like that was technically, a very important film when it comes to representation of African American stars and directors in one movie in a superhero film, but didn't do well. That just seems to be kind of the thing. It's like if it doesn't do well financially, then it's like you know, then it doesn't really have the same legacy.
Even though like John Carver's The Thing, that completely bombed, and that has a legacy it deserves.
Yeah,
So just because a film
absolutely.
bombed doesn't mean it's a nothing movie.
Exactly.
That's
Totally.
what they don't get.
100%.
That was there was something wrong with the video, so I had to take it down. It got a
Okay.
bit screwed up,
I thought it
so
was like
I
a
had to
COPPA
redo it.
thing. We're like, "Oh, it's a kids
No,
movie." That what
because
even like that happened, and then it's like people just change the thing where, "Oh, my videos are not for kids," and then that's really it. It seems like that nothing ever happened with that.
brothers from another mother.
Exactly.
But it was one of those things where, oh, someone was asking your thoughts on this whole thing where they have like the Mean Grinch, kind of like the Winnie the Pooh
Oh,
horror
yeah,
film. They have the Grinch
the
horror film.
slasher Grinch horror movie. I mean, it's not a bad idea. Like I think that works better than a Winnie the Pooh slasher. Um, because the Grinch is like a mean, character. So what if he was
But
even
in this movie, he
meaner?
doesn't even talk.
That's interesting. I've heard it sucked though, so which I'm not surprised if
Yeah.
that's the case. I think there's another like Christmas movie, like something about a robot Santa Claus or some shit that's also a slasher.
Christmas, Bloody Christmas or something.
Uh,
Like this Santa's like a Terminator.
yeah.
Because I saw a trailer and I thought it was the Silent Night remake again, but it was
I I speaking of Silent Night remake,
Cyborg.
I think that's a little underrated. I think when it comes to like remakes and I know that's the one where we're a little at odds with. Um,
I mean, I don't think it's as bad as other movies are, so
mhm.
it
But I
has some
liked
good
it.
stuff to it.
Yeah, it has some good practical effects. It has a nice style to it in terms of the direction and the lighting. And I actually think it's better than a lot of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. I think it's a hell of a lot better than 3 or 4 or 5.
I'll give you that. We're click like would I ever re-review The Grinch? If it's a request, sure. Uh,
I haven't seen
him,
that
someone's
film with Jim
asking.
Carrey in ages.
Someone was asking, have you seen any Isaac Florentine movies? Undisputed Two, Undisputed
I
Three.
saw Undisputed 2 a while ago, and I thought it was pretty pretty cool. Definitely had some good fight scenes, some good direction. Isn't he the same guy who directed Ninja as well?
Yeah, and Ninja Shadow of a Tear, and he's
Mhm.
a pretty good action director.
Another one of those guys that, he's gotten a lot of work in direct-to-video films or streaming movies, but seems like he hasn't gotten that, like, chance for, like, a big budget studio film.
Nah, Sally, no. I pretty mentioned, yeah, there's a lot of Jennifer Lawrence is an idiot. There's Sarah Connor, all these other people, even Alice and Resident
Linda
Evil was
Blair in
before her.
Savage Streets.
That's right.
Are you
I
flexible?
never saw Christmas Carol.
Uh,
Jim Carrey.
yeah? Good. So then you could bend over and kiss your ass goodbye.
What was that from?
Savage Streets.
Oh yeah, with Linda Blair. That's right. Someone mentioned the Willow TV show. I didn't watch that.
Oh,
I didn't
God.
care to watch that.
I saw a bit of the Critical Drinkers video of it, but I didn't finish it because he shat on the first Willow, and then I was like, "Really, dude? Like, trying to say, like, it's a mediocre movie, and talking about them scraping the bottom of the barrel for shows," and I'm like,
I think
"You're
it's a
selling Willow
good
way
film,
too
Willow.
short." I think Willow's a
Yeah,
fantastic fantasy film. It's arguably my favorite fantasy movie. Yeah, part of it's
yeah, it's a
nostalgia
good
because I
movie.
watched it a lot growing up as a kid on VHS, but there's a lot of things about it that are not mediocre at all. Like the effects
Right.
for the time, the morphing effects by ILM were state of the art then and still look pretty good now. The score is one of my
James Horner.
favorite scores by James Horner,
Yeah.
and it's got a good pace to it. It's got likable characters. Like Mad Mardigan is awesome. He's a total badass. The sword fight he has with General Kyle at the end is one of my favorites, especially when he like just gives you that fuck you punch to Kyle in the face, breaks his skull mask, and stabs him with his own sword. Um, yeah, he was great. It's honestly, I would say it's probably my favorite Val Kilmer performance is Mad Mardigan and Willow. Warwick Davis was good too, and Gene Smart was just absolutely phenomenal as Bab Morda. But yeah, what I've heard about Willow is that it's another one of those shows where, hey, let's get as many woke points as we possibly can, and then on top of that, let's deconstruct the legacy and characters from the film that we're supposedly a fan of and we're supposedly a sequel to.
Yeah, I know it stars some lesbians, right, or something.
Yeah, something like that. But I heard they have stuff where, they do the whole like Willow's a loser type stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. Fucking
Big
stop.
surprise.
Stop. Stop with this Last Jedi bullshit with fucking beloved characters. Like most fans don't want to see this shit when it comes to these characters.
Willow is an '80s movie. It's a good one.
1988.
It's it's directed by Ron Howard, who would go
Mhm.
on to direct Backdraft and Apollo 13, and uh, this is like he had done Night Shift and a few
Yeah.
others.
George
Cocoon might have
Lucas
been
wasn't
before it.
Yeah, George Lucas was yeah, Cocoon was in '85. George Lucas had he was a big part of the production for Willow to Lucasfilm. I think he helped write this the story as well.
Yeah, Will is a good one, and that show sounds like absolute garbage, but I'm not surprised because it's Kathleen Kennedy
That sounds like a
fucking
show that I'll
involved
watch
with
and
it.
it'll piss me the fuck off as a huge fan of Will. Like I'll be watching it and
As
I'll just be dying
You're not
inside.
progressive. You're not progressive. Don't
If
her
you don't make
shit.
if you don't make these characters likable and strong, then it doesn't matter. It's fucking pointless in the long run to me. It is. It's pointless in the long run to me because we've already had, gay, lesbian, black, Asian. We've already had characters like that in film. It's not like it's a brand new territory that we're just now delving into.
It doesn't matter if their characters ain't worth a shit and interesting or likable.
Mhm.
Then it don't fucking matter.
Also, like, I
And
don't
I
get it,
didn't
like, if
see
these
it.
characters are unlikable, that's a bad thing. Like, I don't know how that's can be construed into a positive, even though they're more diverse. If they're unlikable characters,
I have no idea.
I
I
saw
know I
that
didn't see that
match.
because I don't watch wrestling
I saw that
anymore.
match. It was a lot of fun.
Go ahead.
I admit it was a lot of fun. I was really surprised by the bumps that Austin took in that match. A lot of it was just a slobber knocker. He didn't do a lot of spots. Didn't he? Did a couple. There's a bit of brawling and stuff like that outside the ring, but it was still a blast to see Stone Cold. And I think for a guy who hadn't wrestled in forever and was as old as he was, I was really surprised by how like decent the match was. I have
Cool.
been hearing rumors though that Roman Reigns' reign will end with The Rock beating him, which I would not be surprised. He's been holding the title for I think like 2 years or almost that. And then who takes the title? The Rock, who is a member of his family.
Yeah, I don't. I used to watch wrestling. I don't watch it anymore. It
And
just
speaking of The Rock, like have you seen some of the stuff he's been doing with Black Adam and like with the whole Snyderverse thing? He's been on Twitter and social media, and some of it's not true though, because some of the stuff has been completely made up by the Snyderverse like fanboys. They've made shit up in terms of what The Rock is doing. But it does
yeah.
seem like he leaked some documents or something on social media to show like the box office, and he was trying to make this argument that Black Adam actually made more money, made more profit than is initially reported or something. I don't know the validity of that, but it's
Trying to
safe to
save face,
say
probably.
The Rock is not going to be in the plans for DC going forward. At least probably not, as that character.
And the movie wasn't all that. And it disappointed the box office. Not a lot of people cared about the Black Adam
That's another
character, and the movie
reason why
wasn't
the
all that.
Snyderverse is getting rebooted or just getting canceled completely is because of the fact that the Black Adam underperformed. It didn't do that well. When a film
Yeah,
costs
it's
like
just
150 to 200 million dollars and it only makes like over 300 million dollars uh worldwide, that's not going to cut it.
no. And like I said, the film wasn't wanted, wasn't needed, and maybe they were hoping like Guardians of the Galaxy weren't popular characters, it would blow up, like Black Adam would blow up. It didn't. It blew up as his face,
Mhm.
and then blew up at the box office.
Speaking of Guardians, did you see
Star
the
Rock.
trailer for the third one?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a well done trailer, but I definitely know most of them are going to be dead by the end of it.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
tell.
Mm,
It was one of
yeah.
those things kind of funny how it was like the one that was supposed to be the more fun, and now has potential to be one of the more depressing ones.
That's one of the problems I had with the second movie, is the tone was a little off at times. It wasn't as consistent as the tone in the first. Um, Good night.
Don't pass out on your own puke. Just don't do that.
Get some sleep.
The Rock is just he's everywhere,
Mhm.
and he's getting to almost to probably Adam Sandler was,
You know
where
what I
it's
wanna
like
see The
how
Rock do? I wanna see him, like, actually be a bad guy again. Like, I think that could be interesting. Tap into his heel wrestler persona in a movie. Um, not not this, "Oh, I'm a bad guy," but not really, like what was going on with Black Adam, with none of his personality and charisma because he just has a stone face for the majority of the movie.
I would be open if he made a movie that was like a Stallone Arnold back to the day,
Yeah,
R-rated,
that
balls to
too.
walls, but he doesn't want to
That
do
would be
that
fun.
because for the kids and family, and
Mhm.
that's the stuff that's been successful
Speaking of, like, for the
at,
kids,
at this point.
I know Eddie Murphy, for years, he was doing the for the kids stuff. He's doing another R-rated comedy, I guess, that's gonna be coming out on Netflix, and
Oh, that
I'm
looked
not
like garbage. Jonah
yeah,
Hill.
yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
That
I'm
looked
really not.
garbage. What happened to
Mhm.
Jonah Hill? When did he
Yeah.
melt?
I have no idea.
I,
I
I
don't
I
know
remember
what
seeing he
happened.
looked better. He looked better in 21 Jump Street, and he looked better fat.
He looked
Just
better
that
he
he
in War
looked
Dogs.
War Dodge as well. This he looks like he melted. And then
Mhm.
you know how you take your food and you put it in the it melts, then you reheat in the microwave, and it's just not the same shape,
Yeah.
and
And I
it's
don't
like
know
he
about the
opened the Ark
premise
of
of
the
that
Covenant.
movie. It just seems like it's one of those, "Oh, haha, this white guy is, like, so tone deaf and doesn't know he's being racist." Like, "Ha ha 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 ha." Hilarious.
Because we haven't had enough of that. Well, quick light. Thank you, Bobby.
Oh, the Saved by the Bell reboot? Like, I think that was inspired by the Saved by the Bell, like, unauthorized story or some shit, and then they decided to, like, make an actual reboot. I don't really care. I barely watched the show when I was growing up, and it doesn't really mean much to me. I know they did the Prince of Bel-Air. I know the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot that's a little more serious based on that viral trailer, but they didn't have the people who were involved with that trailer brought on to work on the new show, which I thought was kind of lame. Like they are the ones that essentially gave you this idea. Like, I don't know, maybe cast some of the actors from that or bring some of the people on board who, created that trailer to begin with.
That was a show playing, and I've never heard a single person talk about it at
Yeah,
the
the
same
the Bel
time.
Air reboot. Yeah.
Hey,
This
Saved
is
by
the
the Bell
first time
reboot, I
I
don't
this is the
really
first time
care.
I saw people talking to someone talk about the Saved by the Bell reboot.
Exactly. So I don't know who's watching this stuff. I don't even know if that reboot's still
It's
on or
probably a
not.
streaming thing. That's my guess. And all these
I
streaming
guess
services, we have to have content. Content, content, content.
they made it more stereotypical for how progressive they want to be. It's like, okay, I'm gonna say this: if it involves someone who's black, it's either they're horrified by race and racial issues, so forth. They're afraid and living in a bubble,
Yeah.
and they make. I'll speak for myself. It does seem like they just that black people just afraid of being victimized all over, and I'm like, no, they just want to live like me and you. Everybody just want to live a life and pay the bills.
It's like that movie
You know,
Us. I mean, not the movie Us. Like that had it's the show. What is the them?
they
The,
them.
yeah, the show Them. I think that's what it was called. Like
Yeah, it
that
was.
that was just so much just in a lot of ways you could say it's like racial torture porn. That's really what it was if you think about it. And I remember seeing comments from African Americans, seeing some videos from African Americans who watch that show, and they're like, "Why do we have to be portrayed like this? Like, why do we like life sucks? We are screwed.
Hey,
There's no happy
give me
ending."
more Tin Foray. Give me more Tin Foray from Dawn of the Dead. You know, give me more. What's his name from Night of the Demons? You ain't
Oh
gonna get
yeah,
me.
oh that guy. Yeah, I forgot.
It was
Forgot
like
his
the
name,
best
but yeah.
character in the movie because he was the smartest character because he ran. And for people who ever seen Night of the Demons, he was the best, smartest character.
Give me
He
more
took
stuff
one
like
look at the demon.
Keenan Ivory
You ain't
Wayans'
gonna get me.
movies. I watched
The what?
the trilogy, the Keenan Ivory Wayans movie trilogy. You know, after he left In Living
Oh,
Color and tried to be a movie star.
Low Down Dirty Shame,
Yeah,
Glimmer Man, Most Wanted.
yeah.
Those are
I
fun.
watched all three of them, and they were good. They were fun. I mean, my favorite is definitely Low Down Dirty Shame. I'm gonna smoke them like a pack of cools.
Yeah, those three are all very fun, and they deserved a
back
lot
when
better. Well, I don't
back when Jada Pinkett Smith was actually,
wasn't worth a
likable.
shit
Yeah.
when she wasn't Jada Pink Slip. And what's if he had any balls, should give a pink slip to her, call it divorce. But that's just me. And I don't care about his new film,
Emancipation.
Oscar bait. It's fucking Oscar bait. That's what it is. I mean, didn't they already do that movie called 12 Years a Slave?
Mhm.
Also, didn't
Yeah.
he say no to Tarantino for Django Unchained?
Mhm.
So, but he says no to that. But I guess he thought, well, this ain't gonna give me the Oscar. You already got an Oscar. Whatever. Uh, yeah, you've seen some of these movies. I think the Hulk Hogan movies. You've seen some of them. Didn't you review
Okay.
some of these?
Yeah, maybe a
Or
while
not? Not.
back. I don't
Not
know if they're still up or not.
or no,
But okay, with Hulk Hogan movies, there's only one
Suburban
Hulk Hogan
Commando is the
film.
best.
That's it. There's only one Hulk Hogan film that I could, watch more than once, and that's
Suburban
it. And it's
Commando.
and it's not even great. Suburban Commando.
It's
Like it's got
fun.
its
I was
it's
frozen
fun.
today.
That's not
Antifreeze. It's fun for a
yeah.
family film.
The most memorable bit for me though is stuff involving like just how he's not aware of how things work. Take a seat, that takes the whole bench and walks away. Or
Fish out of water.
the whole bit with the thugs who was like, "What are you gonna do? Kick my butt?" It's like, "No, this is the
This
'90s.
is
We're gonna
nice.
sue
We're gonna
you."
sue you. That was my favorite line because
Yeah,
that was actually
mine
pretty
too.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the '90s. We're gonna sue you. We're gonna sue you for this. We're gonna sue you for that. These big tough guys. That's what would happen. I love
But
Suburban Commando for what it is.
yeah, it's a fun movie.
For what it is, yeah.
No Holds Barred
But these,
sucks. It's
yeah,
it's
Dookie.
not it's not very good. Santa with muscles, I mean, it's Santa with muscles. I mean, what else needs to be said about Santa with muscles? I mean, why was that movie made? Uh,
Hulk Hogan wasn't in Over the Top. I don't know. So it's all you. He's not in Over the Top.
no, no. That would have been kind of
And these
fun to
other were
see
like,
him as one
yeah.
of the arm wrestlers.
Maybe he meant Rocky 3. Like he's fine in Rocky
Yeah,
3.
he's fun in that as Thunder
Thunder
Lips.
Lips.
But yeah, Santa
These
with
others were like
muscles,
TNT
terrible.
movies.
Three
I think when he was
Ninjas,
in
High
WCW.
Noon at Mega Mountain when he had no mustache. Like, that movie sucked dick.
Yeah.
Uh, Assault on Devil's Island and Shadows Warriors 1 and 2, like, they were watchable. Those are the TNT movies, with Carl
With Carl
Weathers and
Weathers.
whatever. I think I liked either maybe it was the second one I liked more. One of them I thought was just like, then the other one I kind of liked a little bit more than that. The Ultimate Weapon I thought was incredibly disappointing. Like, dull, pretty forgettable, definitely a low budget movie. Haven't seen Mackenzie's Island, but the story behind the making of it is hilarious. But I still haven't seen the movie yet.
And yeah, his cameo Gremlins 2 was fun as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Hulk
And yeah,
Hogan, not really
yeah,
the
bad
best.
track record.
Bad track record. Honestly, I like more of like I didn't mind Half Past Dead 2 as a time waster when it comes to like Goldberg movies. I liked him in his bit role in Universal Soldier: The Return. I
Santa's
had
Slay.
Yeah, I like Santa's Sleigh for what it is. So I just think Goldberg had a better short run of films.
As someone mentioned, Hulk Hogan on a skateboard. That was Suburban Commando.
Yeah.
That's the one that's fun.
Who would you
Yeah, I
say
mean
is the best wrestler who, has been an actor, like Roddy Piper?
Roddy Piper.
Yeah. Yeah.
They live at the top of that list. I
Hell Comes
also
to
like the ones he
Frogtown.
did. Top Comes Frog Town. I even like some of the stuff he did with Billy Blanks, especially
Yeah.
Tough and Deadly.
Yeah, I like Tough and
Uh,
Deadly quite a bit too. Back in Action was a little disappointing. It was kind of just but
yeah,
like Tough and Deadly I liked a lot for what it was.
and Jungle Ground, I
Yeah,
believe
I've
it's
been
called.
hearing
I
some
liked
things
that
about
one.
that one. I haven't seen that one yet. He's been in some that are not the best. Last to
Yeah,
Surrender, was that one pretty decent
I like
too?
that one. That was decent.
Well, I mean, yeah, Sci
Yeah, no,
Fighters, like, yeah, I mean, that was
yeah,
shit.
that
But
exactly.
Pro
But
Wrestlers
yeah,
versus
Roddy Piper.
Zombies, you know, that wasn't, the best either.
He wasn't the problem. It's just it was an awfully made movie with bad sound
Hmm.
design, and it looked like it was film. Someone who worked on that film commented on my video long ago, and they mentioned how they had the audio, but it was just completely something happened to it, so
Oh,
that's why the audio is so shit.
damn. Yeah.
So they had to. I'm like, well, I
It's like,
guess
how did
it's.
something happen to it? It's like like, what did you do? Drop the fucking microphone and water or some shit? Like,
I have no idea.
you shouldn't be
Uh,
making movies if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. I'm sorry.
Jada would get half of the divorce, but Will Smith has like $300 million. He
Speaking
can
of
live
half, that just makes me think of
on half.
the
Eddie Murphy,
Eddie Murphy
yeah,
bit.
half.
I want half, Eddie.
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, I
That's where I
remember
first
that.
saw the trailer
Mhm.
because I saw that VHS of Turtles 2
Well, what do you think about
50
the half
times.
stuff? Like, I think that's ridiculous, honestly. I agree with the Eddie Murphy, like, a bit on his stand-up because I think it's absurd. Like, why should you get half of what somebody has earned just
If you
because
did nothing, yeah.
if you did nothing? That just doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, yeah, I forgot his cameo in that.
Yeah, if you go into it with nothing and then you, especially if it's your fault or
Yeah.
more your fault, but you get half. I have no idea why.
It's like what
I
happened with
wonder
Brendan
how that ever.
Fraser. Brendan Fraser, like, lost, like, a good chunk of his fortune because of the divorce.
I didn't know that. Huh.
He got taken to the fucking cleaners by his ex-wife.
Okay. I don't care, and I don't care about Avatar
It's
2.
making money, but, like, I've been reading some reports, and they're like, "It's below expectations." So, we'll see if it actually has legs or not through the
Like the
holiday.
first one had legs.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
holiday weekend.
Uh, let's see. Yeah, Mike mentioned Hell Comes to Frog Town. That's a good one.
There are sequels for some reason. Those aren't good, though.
Yeah, Time Traveler. If you want that on the, you can always send it through the Patreon request. Um, the Hulk Hogan lies throughout the years. Like, uh, I was going to be in the band Metallica.
He's
They're
gotta
like,
be fucking
no.
with he's gotta be fucking with people at a certain point, you would think, if he's making those kind of claims.
Or he sincerely just wants himself to think that he's the center of the universe, Sally,
Yeah.
because
Or
he was the center for so long.
yeah, or maybe he has some, CTE. There's a possibility of that too. Like, he wrestled for so long, probably took a lot of hits.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, guess you're right about Avatar. Yeah, like Mike said, we'll see what happens. Well, I mean, it's
Huh?
way. I think about that a lot,
I mean, if they
especially with
used
the way
it
things are nowadays.
properly to, like, fix our crumbling infrastructure, do a little bit more of that kind of work instead of spending billions of dollars on fucking war toys, then, you know, I'd get it. Speaking of toys,
Or, make it
here's a
so that, we
recommendation,
don't.
folks, for this holiday season. The movie Toys. Trust me, it's worth a watch. You haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a while,
Good
it's a good
Christmas
film to
movie.
watch around the holidays.
Uh, Still there, Mike?
Yeah, I am. I
Oh, we lost Mike. Okay,
no,
I was
I
wondering,
lost.
like,
I lost. I'm losing you. Like I could see. I could see
yeah,
Matt, but he's a little frozen
cool.
and blurry. So I don't.
I can see you. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you. Your picture
Okay, yeah, I don't know
quality
what
dipped a
happened.
bit there.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. StreamYard being stupid, but at least it's the back. At least it wasn't too big of a deal.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, folks. I know there are a lot of people commenting. I'm trying to do the best I can. Let's see. Same plot as the first one, but set in oceans. There were forests. Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
I saw something that they brought back Stephen Lang's character as some kind of like hybrid or whatever, human and
Right.
Navi.
Whoop-de-doo.
Speaking of
Someone's asking your favorite Ray Harlan movie.
probably Cliffhanger,
Yeah.
but he also did
But
a
what were you
great
going to
job
say?
with a few others. Like, didn't he also direct Long Kiss Goodnight?
Yes.
Um, trying to remember what I was going to say. Well, I was talking about Toys with Robin Williams, that I think is a very underrated movie with some
Yeah.
amazing production and art design, and a message that I think was way ahead of its time. The whole stuff about drones and war toys and all this other stuff, and using kids, to fight wars.
Yeah, Toys I've always enjoyed. I always thought it was a good Christmas movie, and Bob Williams did a great job in it.
I'd love to see that get a 4K, but that's not gonna happen.
Well, yeah, it's
Uh,
not even on Blu-ray.
I did hear that The Abyss is supposed to finally come out in March of like next year, but
Yeah.
I'm not holding my breath. No pun intended. I'm not when it comes to the 4K of The Abyss. Is
Did
it's
you see that thing with James Cameron about how people have too much testosterone?
yeah, yeah, I think I saw an article about that. I'm just like if you wanted if folks if you wanted proof that he lost his balls in the divorce or in Titanic or after the Titanic sunk, there you go. There's proof for you.
Then Hamilton took him the divorce because balls all put in her purse. There you go.
Yeah, the script
Yeah, Joan
was
Warfare.
yeah, it was a labor of love by Barry Levinson. The script actually went through a lot of different forms up until it was finally made. It's the kind of thing
And
you never see get made today because it's a project that was essentially a long time labor of love by Barry Levinson, and the studio decided to fund it as a favor to Barry. Like you're not gonna see that as much anymore.
no.
You see some
And
stuff with
yeah,
like
Toy
Christopher Nolan and what he's doing with Oppenheimer, but you know,
and Toys bomb Sally,
yeah, it
which I
did. Didn't do
don't
well.
really get why, but whatever.
I think the marketing was misleading. They thought it was going to be like a comedy, and it has some comedic moments in it, but
I
it
did hear about this.
9 hours.
His
That just
first
gave me a
cut.
headache. That just gave me a headache looking at that. 9 hours? What is this, some fucking student art film? I'm gonna put it in an art gallery with, like, 50 fucking screens, and then be like, "Oh, it's an art project."
You lost your balls.
You lost your boss.
He is a fucking sellout.
Well, I mean, he is. Remember he praised Terminator Genesis or some shit, and then like walked back his statements later. He was like, "This is the best Terminator film since Terminator 2," or "It's a great movie." And then like it came out and underperformed, and critics didn't like it. He was like, "Well, no, it actually wasn't really that good."
Oh, you got pissy, just
Yeah, I saw
not having
that.
it on.
Yeah, he's kind of an
Talk about
antisocial guy.
testosterone.
He's kind of been an antisocial guy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. The marketing wasn't that the best on toys.
I mean, it was fun to see
But
Robin Williams in a field, like, ad-libbing, but it didn't really have anything to
but
do with the
then
movie, so
yeah, it didn't. What is that? Like, what does that say? Well, but think about it. For such a visually interesting movie, the best you show is a field.
mhm.
Field of Dreams too. It
There
just
is a longer trailer that shows more of the visuals, but, like, at that point, it's probably too late because people already kinda made up their mind. Possibly,
Magic Trick.
maybe. I think he's a little too up there in age to maybe be able to do it.
No, I mean back. I guess he means Back to the Day.
Oh, and, back in the
Like
day?
instead of Batman Forever.
Maybe, but I would've liked Patrick Stewart. I think he would've been really solid.
Yeah, I think he would have been a better fit.
Or John
Uh,
Malkovich.
al-
Malkovich or Patrick Stewart.
how about John Lithgow?
That would've been good too.
Because I
I
think of
would have loved to have
a bit of
seen,
his Raising Cane.
yeah, the Robin Williams, like, Tim Burton, Riddler. Like, I would have loved to have seen that too.
Yeah, and then have Billy D. Williams actually as Two Face, like the whole
Mhm.
plan was supposed to be. He would have been better than Tommy Lee Jones as Two Face. I do think that
I like
Billy
Tommy
D. Williams
Lee. Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face is kinda the same way I feel about, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. Like, too much overacting, too much hamming it
a
up,
bit too much.
and both actors are very capable. They could just, like, just tone it down, and then it would be a great performance, but no.
Yeah.
Have the whole,
So
like,
if you had
"Why
one,
won't you just die?" And
yeah.
Willem Dafoe, "The itsy bitsy spider went down the water spout."
So I would say for this, for Mike, it would be Patrick Stewart. For me, now I'm thinking of like John Lithgow. I know either one would have been interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
maybe like for a fourth Tim Burton Batman, and the third you do
Yeah,
the Robin Williams and Billy D.
because
Williams.
because I think with Mr. Freeze in a third Batman film, the Batman animated series Mr. Freeze wasn't really a thing just yet, so probably that would have been a
Right.
better ideas for, like, a fourth, like, Batman and Robin kinda thing, because that's
Yeah.
when Mr. Freeze, to for a lot of people, and even for comic writers, the Heart of Ice episode, like, that's when that character became, like, a much stronger, character in terms of the way that it was written.
Yeah. That was a good episode though, Heart of Ice. I did enjoy that as well. And if you don't do it for sequel to the new one, hey, Bryan Cranston. Come on.
Yeah.
Take a look
Yes.
at his face, Walter White. Come on, do Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. I think it's an excellent casting choice.
And thank you, Muhammad. Favorite Scorsese movie for him is Goodfellas.
That's
Favorite
classic, that's a good
Scorsese.
one.
I mean, I'm trying to think of his movies. I like After Hours. I like The Wolf of Wall Street. I like
Because I
Taxi
heard some
Driver.
rumors that it might be getting a Blu-ray finally, After Hours. I know it's been a while. I've been hearing some rumors here and there about it finally getting a release. I think the reason why it's been having so many issues is because of, music rights.
Hmm. My favorite. Goodfellas might be it, or I really like The Wolf of Wall Street. I really do like that one with
Mhm.
Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill. I really do like that one. So that one, uh, Matthew McConaughey, I really like the cast. It's between Goodfellas and Wolf of Wall Street for me. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know for you, which one you thinking of?
I'd have to look at his filmography again. I know Goodfellas is definitely up there. I still haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street, so
Yeah, those are definitely some good ones. And yeah, he did Taxi Driver, The Departed, he did a lot of other movies as
mhm.
well.
Taxi Driver, like
Let's
I
see.
hate that it's only available in 4K as a part of that expensive Sony Classics whatever box set. I hate Sony's process with that anyway. Like, oh hey, you want Stripes on 4K? Well, you got to buy this or buy it from some guy on eBay. Oh, you want Taxi Driver? Well, you got to buy this or buy it from some guy on eBay who's going to charge you like an arm and a leg just for the one 4K. I'm
Or
just like,
even Cry Part 2.
yeah,
You have
that
to buy
too.
the trilogy pack or not at all.
I got lucky and found a copy on eBay, but you know,
So did I.
that's
I
it.
got it as well. But uh, but
Yes,
that's because
Sony's
Karate
doing that
Part 2 is
again
my
with
favorite.
SLC Punk. Like that's getting a 4K, but only in that box set. So, you know, if you want that on Blu-ray or 4K, well, you gotta buy the box set or pay some guy on eBay.
Or like that starts with the motion picture cut in a fucking
Mm-hmm.
$100. Granted, you sent me a link where it was a bit cheaper, like what
Yeah, they
80,
knocked it down during it was like for 50 or something during Black
50 something.
Friday.
It's like fuck you guys. um, that's a good choice, Lance Henriksen.
Oh.
That'd be a very good
Mm-hmm.
choice.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that very well.
I think with Two
Uh,
Face, they should have just taken a page from Batman animated series. Like that's how they should have played that character in a Two Face movie. You know, in a movie with Two Face. And speaking of Two Face, I've heard people say some things that are interesting about like a an other Batman villain movies. Like a Two Face movie. Um,
yeah.
I think that has some potential. That could be interesting.
Uh, Someone's asking, was Arnold's worst film for him as Junior?
Yeah.
Uh,
But
Killing
it
Gunther is
might
really
not be. I
bad.
mean, I saw Killing Gunther as well, and that actually might that I would say I'd probably rather watch Junior than Killing Gunther.
Yeah.
Um, because Killing Gunther is him
It,
just like being a parody of himself, like but not in a fun way, like in Last Action Hero.
yeah, Last Action Hero was a fun one. The Killing Gunther was just so aggravatingly annoying.
Yeah, it was
And
terrible.
Terminator Dark Phase pretty close though as well.
I still haven't seen that one. Genesis is pretty bad.
You
Uh,
want to watch a CGI face John Connor just shot in the face
no.
when he's a kid?
Sabotage. That one's pretty shitty too. That's a pretty shitty one as well. Literally. There's a scene
Which I
where they
forgot
move a
Sam Worthington was in
shit-filled
that.
toilet.
And I forgot Sam Worthington was in that. Like that's what he was doing in between Avatar sequels, Avatar movies, I should say.
Even in Avatar, he never showed that much in terms of him being the next big thing.
No, I mean I don't mind him in this killer crocodile movie called Road. That's a pretty good one.
I can
He's
watch
at the
the
star
Clash of the
though.
Titans. I can watch that, the remake, but it's not like, oh my god, I really like it because Sam Worthington is so great. Like, kind of just had the same sort of uh vibe and just look and feel and like every movie, just very cardboard. Right? Just not really a lot for you to draw your eyes to, with any sort of consistency. Like it was just one of those like
Mm.
run of the mill movie stars, like the kind of.
Someone mentioned there's a movie called Stealing Christmas 2003 with Tony Danza. I've never even heard of it, but I guess he really enjoyed it. But
What isn't it?
I didn't
Oh,
know that movie.
wasn't that a name? Wasn't that the name of that Kirk Cameron movie too? Stealing Christmas or something? I could be
Oh,
wrong.
it's Saving
Saving,
Christmas or something. Or
yeah.
so I don't know, it was Kirk Cameron. I can't remember the title. It's some. I think it's like Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas or something.
Yeah, that film is
Yeah, I'm sure he's
propaganda and
saving something.
awful.
Saving the drugs, the meds he should be taking. Kirk Cameron is a weirdo.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a fucking weirdo.
I
He's just
think
fucking weirdo.
he's an example of like how religion like can actually significantly impact your your mental health and not in a positive way.
For some, it's positive, but for him, he went the other way. He went off the path. He went off a binge.
You get people who get legitimately delusional.
Yeah, if you're religious, you're not delusional, but there are people that take it too far, like
Yeah.
him, that
Mhm.
just, again, off his fucking meds or
That's
something.
what I'm saying, like, some people get legitimately delusional because of their, connection to religion. And in some ways, they might be better off if they aren't really involved in organized religion as much.
Who's worse, Kirk Cameron or Neil Breen? Neil Breen's a worse director, but at least
Well, I mean,
I
Kirk
never hear him
Cameron
outside of that.
yeah, I mean, Kirk Cameron, like, he did some stuff, like, when he was younger that, like, Not Quite Human and, some of his work on TV that or the movie, what is it, Listen to Me or something? Or it was, like, the Spelling Bee movie or some shit. Um, like, that stuff is more tolerable to me than anything Breen has ever done in his entire career, so, I mean, if we're talking about, like, filmmakers or retail? Well, it's the holiday season. Of course, it's a nightmare. Um, I've been in retail for at least at this one job for 4 years and counting, and it's been kind of rough. But we got like self checkout now, so rarely ever need to be on the register. And I'm just doing a lot of the stuff where I'm on the floor, just cleaning up and putting stuff away. So it hasn't been really been that stressful. At least that one job. There are some moments though where it gets like really hectic for like an hour during my closing shift when people are looking, asking me for help like every time I turn around and I'm trying to get stuff done, and that's frustrating. The other job, like I'm a cashier most of the time, and that one can get a little hectic because right now it's like one of the busiest parts of the year, but we have so
Yeah,
many people and so many employees and so much people backing up at the register that it hasn't been like that bad. I mean, Black Friday was actually not as bad as some of the weekdays that I've had at that job. So, one of the positives about retail when it's super busy is that time can fly by super fast. So,
mm,
and also like a lot of people don't want to work retail period anymore. And I get it, I understand. So there's a lot of openings and a lot of opportunities, and a lot of these companies are just desperate. They're like they're very flexible now with your schedule and a lot of other things. They're like, you can work, okay. You still want to work for us? All right, we'll keep you on board.
and let's see. Some people were asking, "What's your favorite Lethal Weapon film?" For me, it's the first one. I'll go with the first
It's
one.
probably the first one for me too. I like the second one. I think it has some nice moments, some good bits of action. I think the
I
third
like
one
the
is
third one.
pretty underrated. It's kind of
Yeah,
like a Last Action Hero kind of take on buddy cop movies. Like it's almost like that tongue in cheek kind of film where it's almost kind of parodying some stuff a little bit, but not quite to the point of Loaded Weapon 1, you know? But like
yeah,
there's a little bit of that going on, which makes it stand out in a good way. Uh the fourth film, pretty average. Like not terrible, like it's watchable because because of Danny
compared
Glover
to
or
the
Mel
sequels
Gibson.
nowadays, yeah, it's watchable. Yeah, compared to a lot of sequels nowadays, Lethal Weapon 4 is
We
watchable.
definitely don't need a fifth one. I'll just I'll stick to the it's always it's sunny in Philadelphia, like Lethal Weapon sequels, which are
That was the fourth one with Jet Li.
which are not official by any means, but they're pretty hilarious. Have you seen clips of that of the like the Lethal Weapon films, like the sequels that like the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia characters do?
Yeah, I reviewed one of the episodes. No, oh, that was another thing. But I did see some of that, and that was pretty funny. It's Always Sunny. It's a pretty funny show.
That's a show that, shows you that there's a little bit of hope for, media, like, because they're like, we don't give a fuck. Like, we're gonna offend you. Deal with it.
Yeah, it definitely came alive when Dan DeVito was on. That really made work because he's not in the first season, I don't believe.
No.
But when
I
he
think he's
came
in the
on, it's pretty
second season,
funny.
I think.
And
But
then onward, yeah.
the first season still has its moments, so.
Yeah, I reviewed a couple episodes. They were pretty funny stuff. And also, Tulsa King. It's a good show. I definitely recommend.
I need to check that out. And it's already got renewed for a second season. So
Oh, real quick, I wanted to ask, since I sent you that link, did you watch the Beverly Hills Cop pilot?
no, I haven't watched it yet. But
Okay.
I did kind of flip through it. The picture quality is not too bad. Yeah, Matt sent me a link where we found it. We got access to something we're not supposed to, because this is not
The
supposed to be something that anybody is supposed to be watching.
the pilot that was never aired for the TV show where Eddie Murphy was in the pilot, and it's supposed to be his son
Yeah, the
as the
reason
star.
why it didn't get picked up, I think, is not because the pilot sucked. Well, at least not according to a lot of people who saw it or in the industry at the time, but because Eddie didn't want to be a recurring character. He's like, I'm not doing that. And then they're like, all right, well then we're not doing the show.
You think they would have thought of that before making
I
it?
know, exactly. Exactly. Really.
I'm just saying.
I've been hearing that Lethal Weapon 4 is kind of a similar thing, and I'm hoping that's not the case, where it's like focusing more on his daughter, and then he's kind of,
You mean Beverly Hills
you know,
Cop 4?
yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 4.
I
That's
think
what
you
I
said.
meant.
I think you said Lethal Weapon 4. I think
I I've been
Beverly
taking
Hills Cop 4.
antibiotics and taking all these fucking pills for the past week or so. I don't know where I am half the time. But
They don't concentrate on his daughter.
yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
Great, she's gonna be better
Rumors.
than him, and he's gonna be an idiot.
It's gonna be Bill and Ted Face the Music, but with Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh my god! Someone talked about Ed O'Neill, like your favorite movie that features Ed O'Neill.
Ford
For
Fairlane.
me,
Like, he's not the star in
yeah,
it, but I mean, if I'm talking about a movie that has Ed O'Neill in it, it's Ford Fairlane. I
I
watched
gotta
that
go.
again
Yeah,
recently, and that film is so much fun. I love that movie. I could watch that movie again and again, never get tired of it. It's even funnier now because of how offended and triggered everybody is. Not everybody, but a lot of people are nowadays. Like, that's a film you'd show to certain people on Twitter, their heads would fucking explode if they saw the movie.
well, people were offended back then with Adventures of
Hmm.
Ford Fairlane, and nowadays they would lose their fucking mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, there's a lot of stuff in that where it's clearly in on the joke, like the whole sorority house thing, with the girls and eating corn dogs and doing sexy pillow fights and all that. Like, that's satire. Like, that's literally a sequence where they're just being incredibly over the top with all of that. Like, it was so over the top. Then when I watched it with my parents, my mom actually busted a gut laughing at that scene. Because she was just like, it's because it was just so over the top. Like, how could you take
Neil
that
and Bob, is
seriously?
that? Yeah, Neil and Bob, is that your names, or is that what you do?
Yeah, love that scene.
And what
It's like,
was the
so
thing
many
like?
assholes, so few bullets.
He asked like, "What's a vagina?" or something, and it's like a
It's like
box of penis comes
yeah,
in.
it's like the box of
What did
penis
he say
comes
before
in.
that? I'm trying to
Uh,
remember.
I I I I can't remember that
I
off the
can't
top of my head. fully,
It's a
but
box of penis comes in. Oh,
there's just a lot of great moments in that.
let's
It's like
go man to man, mano to
booty
mano.
time, across the USA, booty time. I'll boot my balls.
Let's go man to man, mano to mano. He shoots the guy. The fuck does mano to mano mean? Use your head, snapper head. Use your
Yeah, it's
fucking
like thanks
head.
for fucking working. Mano a mano. The fuck does that mean? Or the stuff with the kid.
Mhm.
The kid's like swearing. It's like, hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Like you say fuck again one more time, I'm gonna bang you right the fuck out. And very stylish, great direction by speaking of Rennie Harlan, like I don't know. I mean, I love Cliffhanger, but kind of close between Ford Fairlane and Cliffhanger for me because I love his direction in Ford Fairlane, and I love that movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it's great
I don't know what
cast. I mean,
cliffhanger about. Fort Fairlane's a lot of fun.
Dice Clay as the lead. You got Lauren Holly, and like I honestly think it's like one of the few good films she was in is Ford Fairlane, and I liked her as Jazz. Um, you
Wayne
got
Newton.
Wayne Newton. I even pissed in the punch bowl.
Wayne Newton is a villain. That's something
Yeah,
interesting.
it was just great casting. I'm gonna ship this Wick Prick platinum. And you got the actress for Priscilla Presley. I think that's who it is, right? She played
Yeah.
Colleen Sutton in it. You got the late Gilbert Gottfried as Johnny Crunch. Um, Here's to you sucking my dick. um, of course, you even got like David Patrick Kelly in a little bit role as Sam the sleazebag,
Yeah.
and of course Robert England as the assassin. Hello, hello.
7:30.
Hey
Wow.
there. Wow. Good morning.
Good morning. Now do you watch Fort Fairlane? If you like, un-PC humor and just, it's a fun. I think people didn't understand it's supposed to be a parody of action films.
Oh yeah,
There's literally a fucking
definitely.
scene where
It's a foul
everybody,
mouthed like R-rated version of Last Action Hero. Really, in a lot of ways.
yeah, I mean, when everything starts blowing up, and you know how the hero comes back and finds his friend dead, but here's the koala bear that he got as a fucking gift. He's a rock and roll detective, and the fucking bear is hung in the noose, running around. They hung his koala bear, and then the
Yeah.
microwave blows up, and the house blows up. Oh, at least they brought my car back, and then the fucking car blows up. He fucking flies back.
You have the whole sequence on the Capitol Records building, where they keep going from one level down to the next, and it's very slapstick in the way that it's set up. And then they fall, and then everyone's screaming, and then Ford's like, "My hair!"
Or that couple, we're from
Wisconsin,
Iowa,
Wisconsin.
and I'm from my dad's penis. Get the fuck out of
It's like, do you know the directions to Man's Chinese Theater? Yeah, that was great. But
here. Let's see. Yeah, that's a fun one for those out there. Let's see. Sorry about that, folks. Mike's favorite Tony Scott film.
now 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 now. Yeah, it's got to be Top Gun. I love a lot of Tony Scott's films, but for me, it's definitely Top Gun because that's like one of my all-time favorite films. So, um, as a kid, that was like
Good choice.
one of the films that I watched the most is Top Gun. I even had a little flight jacket like Maverick did, when I was a kid, so that film definitely is one of my favorites. But Tony Scott's done a lot of great movies in his career, and That's probably my favorite though.
I
I
think
got
Mike saw this trailer. I didn't see this trailer though.
Oh, I did. Speaking of Top Gun, I did get this sent to me from Jonathan, as well as a bunch of other stuff. But
Cool.
yeah, Top Gun Maverick. Um,
So, the 65 trailer. I haven't seen
65
it, but you
trailer.
said
I
you saw
liked
it.
it. It it's a film that apparently has been pushed back from release for a while, I guess, which is kind of
Mm.
concerning. Um, but I like the idea. I like the premise of it. It's like the future meets the past kind of movie where you have Adam Driver plays this character who's like a group, I think maybe colonists or something, in a spaceship. Something happens and they wind up traveling back in time and they wind up like 65 million years in the past. And so it's like future technology and future people versus dinosaurs. I think it's kind of fun. Kind of a fun idea.
Mm. Cool. Yeah, we both did. We both liked Top Gun Maverick,
I liked it more than Matt, but
but I
you
didn't
know,
mind it. You know.
yeah. I know despite, some people might have, because of the review you did, be like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah," some people are just like that.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I wish it was more its own movie and less like the first
Mhm,
one.
mhm.
I didn't care for the love story as much as the first one, and I thought the music could have been more better.
Yeah, in
But the
hindsight,
action
I
scenes were
do
stunning.
yeah, the music definitely could have been improved upon, and the love story I think is fine, but it's definitely not on the same level as the first movie.
But the action scenes are stellar. I'll give you
Yes.
that. And Tom Cruise does a good job. I didn't mind the what's his name, the younger guy,
Hangman,
Miles
Glenn,
Teller.
oh, Miles Teller? Yeah.
Is that is
Goose's
that his
son?
name?
Oh, Goose's son
Yeah,
is, Rooster.
Goose's yeah, Goose's son. I didn't mind him.
Hangman's the other guy who's kinda trying to be Iceman. Iceman Light.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Someone
Iceman,
asked
I
our
heard
favorite.
that Val
Yeah.
Kilmer was maybe gonna be in the Willow show, but then, his health issues, made it so couldn't
Mhm.
do it. And I've been hearing
Yeah, he's
rumors that,
battling
like,
it.
Mad Mardigan is not, like, dead or anything, but he's, like, somewhere in some
Disappeared.
alternate dimension or whatever or some shit. I don't know.
Which that's great. If you like the character, it's just he can't live happily ever. Terrors can't live happily ever after, Mike. That's
No.
too cheesy, I guess, or too
Well, I mean, Top Gun Maverick,
unrealistic.
this is what I'm hoping, because Top Gun Maverick, just came out this year, so the ripple effect, from this film is not gonna be felt until, like, a good time afterwards. Because there's all these other films and projects that have been in pre-production and development,
Yeah, you look at
probably
next
around the
year, it's
same
just
time as Top Gun Maverick. So it'll probably be a bit until we see more legacy sequels or films that are trying to be more close to something like that. And I honestly think that will start to happen because that film made so much fucking money, and money talks in this industry, and that's really what causes things to shift in this industry most of the time. Is when like something makes like that much of money, then they're gonna be like, "Well, we want our Top Gun Maverick." Like how did that film make that much, and why did it do as well as it did? Oh, because it wasn't like this, oh, let's check off all these diversity boxes and not, write a good story. Like it had diversity in it. Like you had an African American pilot and a female pilot and all that. But like they were decently enough characters. Like and it wasn't like, "Oh, this character, you should think this character is important because of their sex or their race." Like no, they were just, other pilots. They were, part of the team.
let's see. Yeah, but we don't like Avatar, so we don't care about Avatar 2.
I mean, I think Avatar's okay or above average. Like I
But
like it as a
you like it more
spectacle.
than me.
I definitely like it more than Matt. But it's Top Gun Maverick. Like I definitely watched that, over Avatar. And I watched Avatar recently. With Top Gun
Someone was
Maverick,
asking
you
us.
have a
Yeah.
story that is actually pretty strong for the most part. With Avatar, your story, yeah, well, it's predictable and kind of been there, done that. That's not necessarily the biggest problem. Like it's the inconsistencies with like the tone and some of the forced environmental messages and some of that other stuff and sort of the weakness of some of these characters. But Top Gun Maverick has some great visuals and so does Avatar. Like I have to give Avatar that, but it's just I think Top Gun Maverick. You got Maverick, you got Tom Cruise's Pete Mitchell. I he's better than any character in Avatar. Like there isn't a single character that is on par with Pete.
To me, Avatar is one giant tech demo, and that's what
Mhm.
this new one looks like to me.
Mhm.
Is look at our tech demo, look what I can do. Let me show how big my CGI dick is. That's what Jim Cammy's saying. So it's a 3 hour tech demo, and I don't care about seeing a 3 hour tech demo again, like the first
Mhm.
movie. So if
Mm.
people love it, that's cool. It's not for me. Yeah, there's a new video game coming out with them in it, which
Huh.
is interesting. I
Hmm.
forget the name of it, but there's a new one.
Hmm.
That's cool. I ain't need a PS5 though. Too much.
Well, even if you wanted
I
to, you
close
probably
range.
wouldn't get it.
I think I think it is available to get since the holiday season, but it's just too much money for me.
Well, there's going to be
I
a lot
close
of
range
people
is
that
a
are
good
still going to
one.
scalp the fuck out of those systems. Um,
Well, they will try.
I liked it. I didn't love it. I did like the movie though. I guess I just wasn't super big on the way it ended and a few other things, but I do like the movie. It's got some good performances, Christopher Walken and Sean Penn. Um, I know it's supposedly based on a true story, but I felt that like things were just a little bit too bleak and it kind of made it to
Hmm.
the point where it was just kind of one of those like it's not as satisfying of a story as I think it could have been
Hmm.
if you just tweaked a few things. Um, but
I probably liked it a bit more than you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like that Madonna song that they use for the soundtrack.
No, it's not FMV. It's all I forget what it's called. Someone says his name's Crime Boss.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the full title, but
I know
no,
there's a
it's not
RoboCop
FMV, although that'd be
game.
pretty funny.
They're doing another RoboCop game. I've heard about that too. I don't know. Like the last
But
RoboCop game we
isn't it
had
supposed
was the Titus game, which was fucking ass. With RoboCop sounding like the Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah.
I'm surprised that RoboCop team hasn't come out yet. It seems like it was
Yeah.
announced a while ago, maybe not.
Yeah. It's I all I've seen is like footage of the game without any actual gameplay. So I don't really know like
Right.
much about it. Like I mean, for instance, the Titus RoboCop, if you just watch the trailer for that, you're like, "Whoa, that looks like it could be a decent game." Like, "Oh, RoboCop and it's a first person shooter and you're like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." And then you play the game and you're like, "Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me."
Maybe it'll come out when that RoboCop documentary comes out.
Just never. The Pennywise documentary is out now, but like the RoboDoc documentary, and that was announced after RoboDoc, if I fucking remember correctly, too. The Pennywise
Yeah, it was.
documentary.
It was.
Well, it's only one thing, so it's a lot easier for them to finish post production. I guess I don't know. What about that Aliens
See,
documentary? That'll probably come out, a year from now or something.
yeah, that I don't care to buy because I'm not paying $100 for a damn Blu-ray.
Yep.
And that's where we're heading, sadly, because
Mhm.
of In Search of Darkness, because of this stuff. Was it Severin or something released a Dario Argento movie and it was
Yeah, I got it.
$70.
It wasn't 70. It was like 40 something or whatever, but it's still way too expensive. That being said, I did get it. But yeah, it's too much. But I do have it. But yeah, really
And then,
really
then where did you get it?
on Severin during their Black Friday whatever sale or whatever, because
Huh.
that's the only time that they were releasing it, at
There's some
least
people
with the
got ripped off because
slipcover.
they paid 66, 67 for it for
I
some
mean,
reason.
I might have paid for that much. I don't remember. Like, I paid a decent amount. I mean, even for this too. Bullshit.
Just getting to be too much.
Bullshit. Shit. Bullshit. And I did get a couple things from Vinegar Syndrome. That's the other company that's been kind of, at the forefront of that. Freeway, which looked like it got ran over on the freeway when I got got it in the mail. But they made it right. I sent them an email and they were like, "Oh, we're sending you a new one. Like, here's the tracking number." I was like, "Wow, that is some amazing customer service."
But for $1, sure,
Of
that
course.
that would fit.
Of course I would. But no,
Yeah,
I
there's
didn't.
a Dune sequel.
I still need
I
to
didn't
see
care about
Dune.
the
And
first
I love
one.
Dune. Like, I love the story Dune. I'm a huge fan of 1984 film by David Lynch. So, I think I probably have a better shot at possibly liking it more than that, but I'm still leery about it because of the fact that I'm such a big fan of the 84 film that I don't know. Like, it just doesn't seem like it'd be as much of a visual spectacle. And it's only part one of a story, so that's the other thing. Like, 1984 film, yeah, that it was kind of clunky. It was trying to tell the entire story of Dune in one movie, but I don't know.
Someone's asking, what's the best Spider-Man comics?
Oh, um,
Hmm.
I know this isn't a very like. There's one comic I forgot the name of it, but it was like the Return of the Green Goblin or something, and it dealt with Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin. I thought that was a really good trade paperback or comic, and that's another reason why I was so disappointed with Spider-Man 3 is because it kind of seemed like they were trying to do something along the lines of that comic, but they just did such a shitty job with it that it didn't really have the same impact. Um, and they didn't go through forward with a lot of stuff. In that one, I think Harry dies. I think, if I remember correctly.
Hmm. The other one, I don't know why I have these. Ever since I was a kid, I like this 2 issue. It was part one, part two. There's a villainous character called Fire Lord, and Spider-Man's like fighting him, but
Yeah,
he's like
is this
in
the
over his head.
cosmic? Is this the cosmic Spider-Man
No,
comics?
I think I got it over here. Let me see if I can find it. I used it for my Spider-Man No Way Home review, and
Uh,
yeah, it's here.
Venom, the Venom saga. That's another one I highly recommend, as well as Carnage.
The one in the fall.
Yeah, Four Flies in Gray Velvet was like 55 bucks.
So
A lot of money.
these are the comics. This always appealed me to the simple story. There's this one, part one,
Mm-hmm.
and then this one. Look at this is like a cool cover. Look at this cover. Rage.
Nice. Yeah.
Because he's fighting this guy, he's in over his head because this guy's so powerful, but Spider-Man's using every bit of wit,
Uh-huh.
agility to stop this guy. And in this one, they said, "There's no way you could beat him. There's no way you can
Yeah.
do it." He's like, "Yes,
Yeah.
I can," and he's like beating the shit out of him and knocks him the fuck out.
Yeah.
This is like a satisfying 2 issue Spider-Man comic.
Yeah.
That look at that, of course.
Did you
On the
pull up your
back of this,
backup?
of course, what's on there?
um,
Did you play
yeah.
these, by the way?
Yeah,
These type of games?
fucking trash. I have one for RoboCop the series actually.
Really?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Uh, I don't have
But yeah,
batteries in
folks,
it.
these are the two that I was talking about. I really enjoy. Yeah. Oh no. RoboCop 3. Oh wow. Let me see if I can. Can I? Okay, wait 1 second. Let me see if I try this. There. So
Yeah, I don't
so
have batteries in it, so I can't show it. I don't think it would show up on the screen anyway because these are like notoriously hard to show. But
so how long? How much was that? Like, where did you get that?
I got it at like a thrift store, like when I was with my dad when I was like in junior high or even before that. It was like some place in Portland or whatever. I don't even know if it's even around anymore. Um, and I played it a few times. You know, like I think I even remember taking it on the plane one time. It's
I didn't
very
know there
easy.
was one.
It's very simple and easy because you know that's what most of these games are. This isn't actually a Tiger
Yeah.
Electronics one. It's from different some Micro Games of America company. What's funny
Could
is
you
I don't think
show a
that
bit
what?
closer?
Yeah,
Just show a
sure.
bit closer. You know,
Yeah.
the series. Wow. Orion.
Yeah. Because Orion also, you know, they
Okay.
did the series. I don't think that's a
And what does
photo
the
from the
button
series
say?
though. That's a photo from RoboCop 2, I think.
It just says
Uh,
start fire on the
yeah, start
button.
attack. Start attack.
Attack.
Yeah, start and then attack. And then like you have the thing.
So start and attack are the same button.
Mhm.
Okay.
And what I remember about
But
this game, because it is like it's your typical like LCD whatever electronic game, and you know, move RoboCop forward, then shoot you know these criminals with guns or whatever. But I also think like you'd shoot Robocanes if I remember correctly, and I'm like that's not in the show. Why am I
yeah.
shooting Robocane? Is this a RoboCop 2 like LCD game that they just repurposed and they just put RoboCop the series on? Like I wouldn't be surprised knowing how, you know, they recycle shit all the time for cheap games like this, but I'm pretty sure it would still work if I put batteries in it, but
Huh. Yeah, I remember having a couple back in the day. One was, I think, a Castlevania
mhm.
Simon's Quest type of thing where you hit things with a whip. I had the Ninja Turtle one that was like green. It was a bit taller than that.
Yeah.
Kind of like a, not oval, but kind
Yeah.
of a
Yeah, that one. I
type of
think I
shape.
remember seeing that one before. Like it's like weird. Like it's hard to hold, you know. Those were weird when
Well,
they
because of the
had those.
size, it wasn't too bad to hold, and it was all
Mhm.
green and such.
Yeah.
But I remember that one.
They're very simple. You know, just move forward, shoot, you know. That's kind of really about it with a lot of these games. The noises are really obnoxious though, and there's no way to turn it down. So there'd be a lot of stuff where it'd be like, "Would you just turn that? I can't. There's no volume control. Sorry."
I've seen this dot thanks to Mike. I thought it was pretty decent.
You can
The
turn the sound off though, because there's a sound button. So I guess you can mute it.
oh, okay. But I hope you're doing well in Ireland. Very cool. And yeah,
Oh,
I saw this documentary of Mike because he sent me it in a
yeah.
USB card.
I still
So
need
that
to
was
see.
a
I
fun
still
one.
need to see it myself. Surprisingly enough, I have it on Blu-ray though.
Batman '89, Jurassic Park, Tiger Games. They made like one on almost everything. It seemed.
Yeah, even ones
Wonder
where
they
like
do.
Mortal Kombat, like
I'm surprised they didn't do one on Top Gun. Maybe they did, and I don't know.
they did.
Okay, they did do
I
it.
know they
So
did.
answer my question.
It was like one of those Top Gun, you know, those shitty Top Gun NES games or whatever, the second mission or whatever. Like they did something like that with Top Gun.
On Tiger, oh wow. Uh,
And I think I don't know if it was Tiger specifically, but I know they did one, and I know it was like I think it would it's one of those that look kind of weird too. Like the if you there are some of them that are just bizarre. You're like, why is it shaped like this? Like who the hell would want to play a game like this? Like it's shaped like some kind of weird ass shape that you shouldn't be holding, like or it's too big or like too long or whatever. It's just weird. I remember playing something my dad had, which was like a bass fishing thing, and like it had a reel. So like it was like an LCD screen, and it's like a fishing pole with an LCD screen in it, and then like the reel.
Hmm. Yeah, they made a lot of those type of games. Resident Evil, all sorts of stuff.
Rambo. They probably made a Rambo one, more than likely.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Nah, I can't remember
Well,
the first movie I saw in the
the
theater.
only technically the first film I saw in the theater, and the only reason why I remember this is because my mom told me is she took me when I was a newborn. You know, there's no way for me to remember this, but my parents do, so they remember for me when they went and saw Batman, 1989. I was born in 1989, so that's probably definitely the earliest film that my eyes could have technically seen any portion of. But in terms of like some of the first films I remember seeing in the theater, like actually like um 1997 was like a year where or 96, like those are years where I remember a lot more from. And I remember poor dad dragged him to see Kazam because I like basketball, you know, and Shaq, you know, he's in the movie. I also dragged my dad to see Mortal Kombat Annihilation and also uh Spawn, which I would say out of those three, Spawn is definitely the best, but that's not saying much compared to those three films. I do remember seeing Space Jam. I remember being like really pumped to see that because I was a huge Michael Jordan fan at the time. And I remember seeing some stuff. I remember seeing Godzilla at the drive-in theater, the 1998 Godzilla. And I think I also remember seeing Mask of Zorro. I think it was also with my dad. And X-Men. I know I saw that in the theater, and X-Men 2. And I think I also saw X-Men 3, Harry Potter films, Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man that was like a big deal. I remember there being a guy dressed up as Spider-Man 2 in the audience, and they were like giving out like free souvenir kind of stuff. Like if you pulled a certain number or whatever, they would give you like some Spider-Man like merch or whatever. I didn't get anything because I didn't have the right number, but I do remember that. Um, and I saw Terminator 3. I saw Firestorm with my dad in the theater. That was like the first R-rated movie I guess I saw was Firestorm with Howie Long. I watched that film recently, and that film sucks. But yeah, I guess we lost Matt maybe, and I'm just did he? I don't know if he just made it full screen or not, and lost Matt. I guess it's my stream now. I I don't know what to do with this. I can't see anything. I can't see any questions. Um, there we
I
go.
was just going in and out to see if I
Oh,
think the
that helps the
weather's
picture
messed up my
quality.
connection.
Your picture
Huh?
quality looks better now, though.
Okay, I had to go in and out, so that's why I did that. I think the weather's just affecting the connection
Yeah,
because
is
we're
it
getting
like
a bit of a
windy?
cold
Is it
brew.
windy and cold out there?
So I think that might be affecting the connection because
Yeah.
Texas is not used to that, but now the recent
I
years we've gotten more and more
yeah, I mean, I
cold.
heard about what happened that one year where the power grid failed and then a bunch of
Yeah, we
people in
lost power
Texas
for two
were
weeks.
oh,
We didn't have power for 2 weeks, so. But yeah, that's the thing.
damn.
Texas is just not used to that cold, so they don't have the proper equipment. I mean, hopefully they learned a thing or two. Like this, I'll tape over losing power for
Yeah.
2 weeks. So
Yeah.
see that's why I went in and out in case to make it a
Uh-huh.
little bit better because I know it was a bit laggy, but Like it looked fine. It looked fine on my end, but someone mentioned it, so that's why I went in and out.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was kind of telling you, that you were blurry earlier,
yeah,
is because of, probably some connection, issue or whatever.
yeah, because of the weather and the cold and stuff. Yeah,
But
tested 12
yeah,
months are usually January, February, but it's pretty cold now.
I also saw Alien, the director's cut in the theater. Saw
Yeah.
that. But yeah, Firestorm was technically the first R-rated movie I saw in the theater with my dad. But Terminator 3 I saw with my stepdad. And I used to see a lot of films in the theater. I mean, I saw all three Lord of the Rings movies in the theater. Saw the Avengers in IMAX. In the front row, which sucked ass. I hated that. I saw Beowulf, of all things, in the theater in 3D. It was one of the worst
Real quick,
theatrical experiences of my life. But yeah,
Monocle, I think you think you have a different person because I never saw Star Trek
I
Nemesis in the
saw that.
theater.
I
Oh, you
saw
did.
that.
Okay.
I did
Oh,
see
he didn't
Star Trek
mention Mike. Okay.
Nemesis in the theater with my
Cool.
stepdad, and I did have a magazine and a Shinzon figure of Tom
Cool.
Hardy. I still might have that figure somewhere. And yeah, I had a magazine that my stepdad gave me. So yeah, because I was a big Star Trek fan. I still am. Um,
How about the
and
other stuff today?
yeah, not a lot of the new Star Trek stuff. I haven't even bothered to watch it. I've seen some reviews, and I'm like, ugh, Picard, sheer fucking hubris.
I can't remember much. I think I might have seen Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare in the theater
Uh,
because I
that
remember the
that's pretty.
3D.
That would have been pretty awesome to see in the theater. That would be pretty cool.
Uh,
My first
although
3D
I remember
experience
having the 3D
was Beowulf. That's what that was, with these thick ass, uncomfortable yellow 3D glasses that if you wear glasses, it would just horrible, like too much pressure, like they give you a headache. And then on top of that, you're already getting a headache because you have to cross your eyes because the 3D still wasn't perfected to the point yet where you don't have to cross your eyes in order to see the 3D. So you have to cross your eyes with these fucking thick ass glasses that are like taking the blood away from your brain. And then like the movie sucked too, so that didn't help. And then like in the middle of the film, like it's split up into like two different like movies, like two different like screens almost. Like it was like the movie split in two, and it's like you're watching one scene, but you're seeing it doubled. It was just horrible.
It was bigger Freddy's Dead. I think as a kid, I was only about 7, 8 years old. And I think I didn't know that the 3D was only at the end, so I probably wore the thing the whole time,
Oh no,
waiting for the 3D. I'm like, "Where's the 3D?" And then it showed up at the end. I'm like, "Okay," but and then I think I
imagine
saw
young
Die
Matt
with a
just being like, "What? I can't. Like, where's the
"Where's the
3D?"
3D?" Because they advertise like yeah, it's got 3D, and then it's like, "Oh yeah, it's at the very, very, very end." I'm like, "Shit." Uh, I did not see Aliens in the theater. Someone asked. I was only 3 years old
I
because that was
saw
'86.
I saw a digital version of Aliens in the theater. I remember some people walking out like shitting on it that just made me roll my eyes.
Five fans of fucking Captain Marvel, but I think I saw Die with a Vengeance in the theater because I think that was around my birthday. And
Yeah.
loving the first two Die films, I saw that in the theater. That was great.
I don't know if I saw
Love
that.
that
I
movie.
probably didn't. I was too young. They wouldn't let me watch that in the theater, but I did see, of course, it on home video later. That was like one of the first R-rated movies I remember my mom letting me watch was a Die Hard movie. She let me watch Die Hard. Um, and by the way, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I'm sick and tired of that fucking argument. But Bruce Willis says, I don't give a fuck what Bruce Willis said on the shitty Comedy Central roast. It's a Christmas movie. Ho ho ho, I have a
Christmas
machine
movie.
gun. It ends with Let It Snow. It takes place during a Christmas party.
Yeah, and it teaches a good lesson: goodwill towards men who have a machine gun. And if you do bad things, you're on the naughty list. You get a lump of
You'll,
cold cold of
you'll
lead
yeah,
up your
you'll want
fucking face.
you'll get dropped off a skyscraper like Hans Gruber.
But yeah, I can't remember like in the '90s what films I saw in the theater. Probably not much, because we lived too far away. We lived in the middle of nowhere in Iowa in the country,
I
and it was
think I might have
probably a good
seen First
40,
Contact
50
now.
minutes.
Now that I think about it, I might have seen that in the theater. That's probably why I was so excited to see Nemesis, because I loved First Contact. I watched First Contact ton growing up on VHS.
And for me, it wasn't until probably in the 2000s where I saw more films in the theater. And I mentioned like 2003, like almost all the films I saw
Hmm.
were in the theater.
Was
Because
Half Past
at that
Dead? Didn't
point, I
that
lived
come
next
out in
to it.
2003? Did you see that in the theater?
Which one?
Half Past Dead?
Which one?
Half Past Dead.
I might have seen it in the theater and being like, it sucks. Because I liked Exit Wounds, like
Yeah,
you mentioned.
yeah.
And I'm like, I thought it would be like that. He's with another,
Hmm.
he's with some rappers, and it's an action film, it's theatrical. I love Out for
There's
Justice and
not a
March for
lot of
Death.
action in
And
it, in all honesty. There's some gunplay. There's Seagal doing shit with chains, which I don't know why
well, it's
they're
also
doing
the
that.
director, Don Michael Paul, the star
Yeah.
of fucking Rolling Vengeance, who went on to direct a bunch of lame Tremor sequels,
Yeah,
5, 6, and
yeah.
7, or whatever.
I know there's like some chick.
So,
She had like she was wearing a trench coat. She looked like something like out of the Matrix. Like you could tell that they
because
were
the
like,
Matrix sequels
"Hey,
were out.
yeah, the Matrix sequels are out. Like, let's put this chick in a trench coat." And I know there was like a
Be like
helicopter that
Trinity.
crashed into the ceiling and just stayed
It's a
there.
bang.
Yeah.
Do my motherfucking thing. It's a bang, bang, bang.
What do you think about that
That's why
song?
the average. That's why the trailer had DMX, because you remember Edge of Wounds? DMX was in that, where here's a DMX song, which is funny because Ja Rule's in it, but it wasn't his song for
Oh, it
the
wasn't a Ja
advertisement.
Rule song? I thought that was a Ja Rule song, but I guess
No, I
not.
think that's
Damn.
DMX. I'm a bang. So yeah, that's a DMX song. Yeah, the way Steven Seagal runs. Why he didn't do a lot of running in Half Past Dead unless it was his double.
There was like a little
Because you
jog
can tell there's
or
some
whatever
doubles in
near the
there.
end. Yeah, for sure. But you could tell that in
You
Exit
tell
Wounds,
there's
like the motorcycle sequence, and a few other stuff.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, Nia People. That was her.
in Half Past Dead, that was definitely you could. It's obvious. Like, what the hell was that climax that the guy who like blew himself up in the helicopter winked at the camera, and then Seagal dived fat ass character jumping out of a plane and doing skydiving like it's
The hell,
fucking
yeah.
drop zone. Like that was clearly not Seagal. And the guy was like
Your cat ran away because you're talking about
50 or
fat ass Seagal.
yeah, 50, 60 pounds lighter than Seagal's fat ass.
Cat's afraid Seagal's going to eat him. Why do you make fun of Seagal so much? Because he's a fucking piece of shit nowadays. He's
Have
been that
you
way
Speaking of Seagal,
fucking 10 years.
did you see that photo I shared on Facebook of like the cover for the book that Seagal wrote?
Yeah, I didn't know he wrote the book. I'm sure he like taught and someone wrote it for him, but
Legend of the Shadow Wolves or whatever the fuck it was.
yeah. Yeah, like I said, we mentioned this before. I forgot I said that. Fat. He's fucking atrociously tubby. Fat.
It's true.
Yep. They did. They did
Yeah.
for bad TV, they predict it. And those are fun. Lil
Steven Seagal's
Sasso.
America. The first Steven Seagal parody, though, on Mad TV, is not even on YouTube because it's so controversial. Because there's a moment when Brian Callen is in blackface, which yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's called Hard
I'm
to
surprised the guy
Oppress.
was.
Yeah, it was called Hard to Oppress. It was a parody of on deadly ground with the whole speeches and whatever. But this time around, it's
Yeah.
the civil rights movement. Yeah.
I'm surprised they did that because they had people on who were black.
But it was done in a way where it was poking fun at the whole minstrel thing. So maybe that,
Oh,
it was kind of, goes to the whole like, Cindy Poitier was like, supposed to be one of the co-stars. Phil Lamar played the Cindy Poitier thing. Brian Callen was
hmm.
Steven Seagal. Um,
Oh, Brian Callen played Steven Seagal, and Steven
yeah.
Seagal was in blackface.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense
Yeah.
because Seagal, if he could, he would do that because there's many stories where if he talks to someone, he like tries to adapt to their accents.
Yeah. I
So
could
he's
see
like,
him doing that shit.
he there are many people where like he'll be, hey dog, how's it going, dog? But if he sees an Asian person, he just automatically goes, senpai, senpai. It's like, what the fuck? I'm from Jersey, dude. The fuck you talking about? And
So
see,
if he saw
like
Bobby
his
Lee, he'd
movies,
just start bowing to Bobby Lee.
he did. Bobby Lee said that because Bobby Lee was on Mad TV, and he
That's
did say he
hilarious.
met, and Seagal did that. Seagal bowed to him because he was Asian, and Bobby's like, okay. He did that. That's where I got it from. He did that. Seagal fucking did that.
That's
He
hilarious.
just saw Bobby's Asian and did this. That's Steven Seagal.
Well,
If you see, he just
you could see some of that stuff in Half Past Dead with the whole like AI or whatever, like like trying to get sound ghetto or whatever. Like, it was just cringe.
oh, believe me, you'll see a lot of that in direct-to-video films when you
Oh,
start
great,
watching those.
great.
Especially like how he tries to be Southern and kill switch, and
Oh, his Cajun accent, which he kind of had previously, because he kind of was using that in Under Siege. That was kind of his
but this
character.
is more so,
Yeah.
more so. Yeah, that's another thing too. He absolutely hurts stuntmen. People mention how he like has broken their bones and he didn't give a shit.
Damn.
Seagal doesn't care
Shit.
about stuntmen. He doesn't hold back on them because he just doesn't care
He's a hard worker.
because he knows they can't do anything. Otherwise, they get fired.
If he was a wrestler, he'd get his ass kicked. But that's what would happen. Like, he would just get his ass beat, like in a match. Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff in Mad TV. Like, there's a lot of like characters and parodies and stuff that you never see get made today. But some of that shit is still
Well, they
hilarious.
tried to
I'm
bring it
sorry.
back, right,
I'm
and it
sorry.
failed.
They did. It was fucking awful. It's terrible. They even had some of the
When
original
was that?
cast members, like 4 years. Like, it was a while back, but it was. I forgot exactly when it was, but I did a video on it, I think. And the new Mad TV was shit. It didn't even last that long, and for good reason, because it was shitty. Yeah, yeah. Seagal was doing the whole like fight choreography, a little bit of that. Never Say Never Again.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember reading that, and I would love to have seen like Sean Connery's initial react, because Sean Connery seems like a guy who wouldn't be taking a lot of shit from anybody. So break Sean Connery's wrists, and Sean Connery would just
exactly.
chew the chew Seagal out.
Let's see. Yes, that film should be hard to watch. Exactly.
Out to lunch. Really, it should. I've said this before, but this is like, if Seagal's gonna do another movie, and I don't think he's. It seems like he's more into like being Russian or whatever than anything else. Um, do a parody. I think that could be funny and fun, but he's got too much of an ego to ever do it.
No, I don't remember Seagal being on an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Maybe he was. I don't
He
remember that.
was what? I know he
I
was
don't.
on.
Not that I know of.
I know he was in SNL. and he was one of the worst hosts ever. In fact, he was so bad he was banned. He was banned from SNL. SNL was like, "You're never hosting again."
Yeah, I saw that interview, and Seagal was so full of it.
That's
Did you hear
bullshit.
about the interview?
No, there's no fucking way that the studio called him. Why would they ever call him? Why would they need to call him?
Exactly. And Seagal, because he was in an interview, he's like, the day Brandon died, someone in the studio called me, and they wanted me to investigate.
Investigate, investigate this, Seagal. I like a
I
lot
want
of
to
your early
investigate.
films. I'm entertained by them, but like you as a person, man, like seriously, what the fuck?
Investigate a dietitian. Just investigate some other stuff, dude. Hell out of here.
They called me to
You fucking
investigate. What
idiot.
was there to investigate? It was clearly obvious that after Brandon Lee got shot, that immediately they knew what it was. They were like, "Oh fuck, there was still there's still a bullet in there." What, to investigate whether it was foul play? Why would they ever call you to invest? It's not like you were actually an investigator or member of the
But
police.
because Seagal is a legend in his own mind. A
Yeah,
lot of
like
the
you said,
times.
like Hulk Hogan, I guess. Legends in their own mind, I guess. Except with Hulk Hogan, is a legitimate legend, like in his industry. Like wrestling would not be what it is today without Hulk Hogan. Period. But
I'm not sure what this question means. There's something on Facebook. Went on to the heat. I don't know what that means. I mean, we're
he's
just gonna
kind
be
of
honest in our opinion.
times that I went on to the hate for certain, like when there were certain films that were getting hated on, and then I would just kind of think about it too much, that kind of thing,
Hmm.
where it would just be one of those things where it's one of those things where it would probably be more beneficial for me to just kind of let it go and not like try to you know
Oh,
get
just
too worked
move
up
on.
about it and move on, but and I mean, there are some films that are like that, but it's kind of like films that get like a crazy amount of praise that I don't get, that I'm more involved with, to be honest. If I'm to be perfectly honest, right now, like Alien 3, like like I get worked up about that.
Oh, yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, okay.
But
So
because
mentions.
especially when it comes to like some of the, hey, sure, I'll check it out.
Cool. So yeah, like you mean like films that you could get involved with a discussion and debate or whatever of what really like okay, what's
Well,
that about?
Well, I mean, really, what it is he's talking about is like films that you like that are getting like a lot of
Oh, okay.
hate.
Yeah, I mean, there's always stuff where you
I
just
mean, like Predator
okay, I
2.
don't get it. Yeah, but yeah, that gets into discussion, debates, all that stuff. Conversations was
Predator
what it
2
used to be
sucks because Arnold
back
isn't
in the
in it
day
and it
before
doesn't take
politics.
place in a jungle again. That kind of stuff. Which I still get kind of worked up when I hear those arguments. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's called nerdy debate. This is what we did when we were kids before all the politics stuff. But that's part of the movie watching fandom is you get excited or angry and fuck you, all that stuff. And
Hmm.
then later on, it's like it's cool because it's just a movie. But
Yeah.
we had fun debating and we had fun talking about it. So,
Hmm.
but
I just try not to
people forget
worry
that
a
nowadays.
lot about what other people are thinking about something, that I like. Because it's like, I can't change their mind. So,
Yeah, exactly. So, you just say your piece
I mean,
and move on.
I
That's
do
all
offer
it is.
rebuttals to some of the stuff because it's I think some
Yeah,
of the arguments I hear are fucking stupid, and I don't get it at all. Alien
yeah, it
3
definitely
is
was
some
depressing
underrated
everywhere.
masterpiece, and
I
it's
don't get
good
that, but to each their own.
because it goes back to being the first movie. I'm like, yeah, too much like the first movie, like a shitty version of Alien.
Yeah,
It's good
yeah, but
because
yeah,
it's good because it's nihilistic and depressing. That's a good thing because it's ballsy.
those are the only two reasons I hear why people hate Predator 2. Yeah, it's lame. I mean, to me, if you don't like it, to each their own. I don't agree with those sentiments of those are the two reasons. This guy doesn't have Arnold in it, and it's not in this jungle.
It's like what happened with
I don't want
Halloween
the
3
same
for
fucking
many, many
movie.
years.
I don't want the same
Halloween
fucking
3.
movie.
Mhm.
But yeah, Halloween 3.
It's like
Go
the same
ahead.
thing because it was like Halloween 3, I was a fan of, you were a fan of it. All these people like,
Yeah,
"Michael Myers isn't in it, so it sucks." I'm like, "Well, Halloween 5 has Michael Myers in it, and so does
Halloween ends as
6."
Michael Myers, and that sucks the most. Like Halloween ends,
Yeah.
and Corey. Corey sucks, and Michael Myers sucks in that movie.
I've honestly been getting mostly positive responses from that video, which is fun, and a decent amount of views, so, I mean, at least for my channel lately. I mean, it's cool. Like, I still get comments, like, and people are all like, "And you made me laugh my ass off at the montage bit." I'm like, "Yeah, because it really did feel like there was gonna be a fucking montage with Michael teaching Corey how to kill. Fucking 80s music in the background or some shit."
So it mentions. Well, I agree with Mike. I think Nolan films, a lot of them are pretentious as well. So I I don't really disagree with that either. Although I like Inception and I
I like
like
Interstellar
Memento, but I do think
more than Matt did, but he still didn't mind it.
yeah, just I didn't like the ending, but
Mm.
the rest of Interstellar I didn't mind. But yeah, I do think some of what I did death threats over his reviews. Oh yeah, that happened
Oh, yeah,
quite a
that
bit.
happened. With the Dark Knight, right? And The Dark Knight Rises?
The Dark Knight Rises and Prometheus. So
I had one guy
oh
say he's
well.
gonna curb stomp me because I didn't love The Omen. I remember that one. It's like, I liked the movie, but I didn't love it, so gotta get a curb
Oh
stomping.
well.
Yes, but it's too much like
I wish
Aliens, so no.
I wish they had adapted that script to that comic book.
Yeah, that
And
was disappointing. They adapted it for a novelization, though, I think, recently.
yeah. But for some reason they adapted the cheaper, what would have been the cheaper budgeted script
Yeah, for the
for
comic.
the, and also that audio with Michael Biehn and Lance Henriksen, that
Yeah.
audio
But they did
plaything.
it for the
Like why?
novelization later, but they didn't do it for those 2.
Like why would you do the one that was the cheaper, not the one that was like the more crazy? I don't get it, but whatever. That's just me though. If you were asked about Oppenheimer, the new one,
Yeah,
I'm
Oppenheimer, I
indifferent.
still haven't watched the trailer, but, like, I'm not super intrigued by it, really. Like, a movie about the atom bomb, I'm like, I there was already kind of a movie like that, it's called Fat Man and Little Boy with Paul Newman, and, that was pretty decent, but, like, I don't it's not really a concept that yeah, it's curb stomp me like Edward Norton. It's not really a concept that it intrigues me a whole lot. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's shooting the atom bomb for real," and I'm like, "How is he doing this with practical effects? Is he actually filming an atomic explosion?" Like,
Well,
that's not a good idea.
I'm sure there's a type of explosion to make it look like it with the
Yeah,
smoke and the clouds
I
and
guess.
stuff,
Yeah.
with the right technicians and demolition
Mhm.
experts. I'm sure there's ways to
I will say
replicate
this
it
about
without
Christopher
actually being
Nolan.
a fucking.
He is a director who really does care about practical effects and doing a lot of things practically as much as he possibly can. And I will give him a lot of credit for that, because a lot of directors nowadays, they don't really give a shit about practical effects. A lot of new up and coming directors probably aren't even really familiar with a lot of that. Period.
Hey DJ, hope you're doing
Hey,
well. I hope not. Alien Covenant was such a big bomb. Why don't give him a third chance? Because the other two
no.
sucked.
No, what we're gonna get is this TV show, Alien TV
Yeah.
show on Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever, and another Alien spin-off movie called Romulus. I'm like, Romulus? What is it, Star Trek? Is this a Star Trek
I was gonna
crossover
say.
with
That's what I
Alien?
was gonna say. Romulus.
What are the
I just
Romulans
because
gonna
they
show
think
up?
it's.
The Romulans are gonna show up now and
I just
fight
because it sounds
Xenomorphs.
kind of like Prometheus, Romulus, maybe Romulus. Jeez. Julius Caesar is a fucking
It's like
xenomorph.
it's another one of those things where it's like you have the Dark Horse comics. There are so many stories. Just adapt one of them.
They don't exist anymore. Just like
God
those
damn it!
comics in the Star Wars don't
Just
exist
adapt
anymore.
Labyrinth or
Remember?
something. Aliens Labyrinth or Earth Hive or one of these other.
They don't exist. Just like those. Remember all those Star Wars stuff you could have pulled out, and they like, nope, they don't exist anymore. We need Rey
But
Skywalker.
they took elements from them for their movies or for the shows. I read that somewhere where it's like they still like took elements from these fucking books and this expanded universe. Like it doesn't exist, but we
Why
still
create
used
when you can
elements.
steal?
Yeah,
Why create when you can steal?
yeah.
Don't
The Last
think.
Jedi is another one. Speaking of Star Wars, that's another one where I get a little heated on. You know, it's a misunderstood masterpiece, and you just didn't get it. Like that's it. That's the thing that definitely does get me is when you have the people who
Didn't
are like,
get it.
you just didn't get it.
I didn't get an STD either. I don't want it. Because I don't want Last Jedi. It sucked. It sucked on a character front. It sucked as a sequel to Force Awakens, which I wasn't a fan of either. I mean, if you even like those characters, what you did? Ray has a thumb up her ass. Luke is a fucking hobo. The black guy, he's goofy and he's fumbling around, waking up with Folgers in his cup. They're going off to a fucking sci-fi space casino
Uh-huh.
to save the whale, save the horses, the space horses, whatever the fuck they were.
Save the fire mares.
And then they stole that from Kroll in the third one when the fucking fireman. Yeah, give me Kroll any day. Fuck Last Jedi. There's nothing to get. What is there to get? Except shit.
I know.
Dog shit. See, I did fired up about that too, I guess.
So does Mark
Fucking
Hamill.
dog shit.
So did Mark Hamill. Speaking of Mark Hamill, like they're still trying to people are trying to be like, oh no, he doesn't actually feel that way. See this video like from a Star Wars fan fest where he talks about how much he likes the movie. That's proof that he, is a fan of the film. But then you look at all the other stuff prior to that. Then you look at the tweets that he made like a year or two afterwards. It doesn't seem like he's very much a fan, at least of what they did to Luke. Maybe he's a fan of other parts of the film, but he's definitely not happy with how they handled Luke, and he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be happy with that. To be honest, though, he should have just been like, "This is what you're going to do to Luke. Then I'm not going to do it. What are you going to
I don't fucking know.
do?" But he's contractually obligated, so he's like, "I don't want to get sued, so I have to. I have to do it," which sucks. It sucks to be in that situation. To see a character that means so much to you just get so completely fucked over, and then there's nothing you can really do about
So speaking of which, Indiana Jones 5.
it. Is somebody talking about Indy 5? Um, The film that they're
Well,
doing
here's a weird
reshoots
thing that
again
happened.
for?
Here's a weird thing that happened. John Williams
Mhm.
did an interview and said he was scoring pieces, including more than one ending.
Yeah, they're doing another
Then the
reshoot.
director said John Williams is wrong. There's no reshoots. There's no alternate ending.
Oh,
James
okay.
Mangold.
Alright.
Oh, John Williams was either, I don't know, he was listening to trolls or he was wrong. But then later
Mm.
he said, well, he's fully informed. So which is it? He's either fully informed what's going on or he was wrong. I don't know how a composer for decades doesn't know
Uh,
the difference between doing a different ending.
yeah, that's a
I'm
bad look for James Mangold. That's a bad
like,
look.
how would now he's like he doesn't think John Williams, who scored how many movies? He doesn't know the difference. More movies than James Mangold's directed. And he's like, no,
Yeah.
no, none of that happened. There's never been a test screening.
Well, I
There's
mean,
never
James
been.
Mangold, he was already worked up about, these online, people on social media, uh, previously, the whole tweet thing, where he got pissed off about these tweets and then he tweeted, back and it just seems
Why
like
is he
he's,
reading?
yeah, I don't
Why does
know.
he care?
Yeah, why do you care?
Shouldn't he, should he be busy making your movie?
I don't get that
You
about
were about
people in the
tweets?
industry who are like just worried about these fucking tweets from random people on the internet. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody. I don't give a fuck if they. I had one guy leave something where he like didn't even write in English and was just cussing me out, because of the whole Snyderverse video. And I'm like, whatever, dude. You think I haven't heard people tell me to fuck off before on this platform? I've
Did
been
he
given
say?
every insult and threat in the book since my time on
Did he spell?
YouTube.
Did he spell fuck FUK?
No, he spelled that correctly, but a lot of other stuff he didn't spell right.
What was the one stream I was on that someone they tried to say something and they completely misspelled it, so then everyone made fun of him for it.
I
I
don't
forget
remember
what it
that.
was. It's like I forget what it was. Maybe someone in the chat remembers. It was a guy who's trying to act tough, but then he completely misspelled an important word. It's like I'm a what? Like, do you have hooked on phonics? Doesn't just work for kids. I forget what the hell it was. Maybe someone in the
Oh.
chat remembers, but yeah, the Adventures of Old Indiana Jones. I mean, he's
we
78 years old.
we both like Indy 4 and think it was an underrated film. And it's a fun movie. But he was showing his age then. And like now, like it's
Yeah,
very obvious. Like, when you get to a certain age, like you just don't move a certain way and especially when it comes to like an action sort of thing. And it doesn't help either when you have that shot of Indy on horseback that is
that's
so
what it was.
fucking
That's what it
fake,
was.
inbred. Inbred. Well,
I'm
I
a
mean,
piece of bread. I'm a Wonder Bread.
I mean,
That's right.
you could spell it I mean, I guess that's like if you spell it out. I guess in your head, that's what it'd be inbred. I mean, it sounds the same, but it doesn't. It's
I'm in the bread. I'm not fucking bread. I'm not fucking the sandwich. In bread. Like, if you're a soul, at least know how to spell
yeah,
inbred. Am
yeah.
I wheat or am I white? Am I a whole or am I grain? Maybe
But
brain cells are a grain of sand that
it
fucking
did like I think that quote from Aliens is just so
the IQs just dropped
yeah,
sharply when I was away.
yeah. Like that's such a great quote for a lot of things nowadays. Um, but yeah, there's a scene in that Indy 5 trailer where you could tell that it's not Harrison on the horse. They put his
Yeah.
face on this double and like they did a shitty job with mapping it on. So it just
Yep.
kills the illusion.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you could tell. You could tell a lot of it wasn't him on the horse. Any bits of action, it's either you tell it's a stunt person doing this or CG
Or they're shooting,
manipulation.
yeah, they're shooting it, it's completely CGI because it's, like, all in shadows. Like, what better way
Yeah,
to hide, his age by having, like, a fight in the shadows, completely with CGI, like, computer generated imagery, I mean,
which that's the case. They just don't make the film.
that'd be like doing
That
another Rocky, like Stallone would go, "Hey, I'm gonna do, Rocky 7." You'd be like,
if he wanted
"No."
to, yes, please no.
Then it's really gonna be like that Spaceballs parody or whatever it was, like Rocky 3000 or some shit.
Oh, was it like Airplane, the sequel
Oh,
or
that's what it was,
something?
Airplane the sequel, yeah, Rocky 3000.
There's the poster. Let me answer this real quick. Only if you want. The fourth one is the least favorite of the first four. There's a bit escort mission, the second half. It depends. I would watch a little bit on YouTube and see.
Except Matt got a little frozen there
Yeah.
again.
I might try to touch some screws up a bit.
We'll see if he's able to
Okay, let me go
get
out
back.
and
As I try to go back and come back in. Um, I haven't played the Silent Hill games. I haven't played a lot of that. I probably should one of these days. I know the film was disappointing. I know that. I know the film was a disappointment. And I can see you, Matt. I can hear you, Matt, but I can then now I can see you. Still a little blurry, but
okay.
I mean if people could still hear you, I mean,
Okay.
guess that could still work.
Because of the weather.
Cold. Now it cleared up a little bit.
Yeah, I'll probably end it now since we're going on for 2 hours and
Mhm.
40 minutes, and again the weather's screwing
Yeah.
up a bit. It's just again it's all the cold front and stuff, which will be there for the next couple days, 20,
Uh-huh.
30 degrees and stuff.
Good luck with that.
Which doesn't seem like much, but for Texas a lot.
At least you hopefully
But
you at least got some
thank you guys.
heating and everything like that. Stay warm.
Yeah. But thank you guys for joining us. It was a lot of fun. Been going at it for about 3 hours now, 2 hours and 40 minutes. Thanks, Mike, for joining me and taking the time. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Mhm.
And for those out there, thanks for stopping by. Again, sorry about the issues. It's just again the connection. It's just how it is with the. This is just the weather, just how it is. But hopefully after a few days it'll clear up a bit better.
Yep.
So with that said, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Thanks once again, Mike, for joining me, and we will see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Um